by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. And by MCI, communications for the next 100 years.
It's a gorgeous autumn afternoon in Northern California and a sellout crowd at Candlestick Park to see the 49ers host the Colts. Hello, everyone, and welcome to San Francisco. Tom Hammond, along with former NFL player Dave Rowe, who played for the Colts when they were in Baltimore and also saw duty across the bay here with the Oakland Raiders. Dave, a lot of difference in the records of the two teams coming into the game. The 49ers 3-1, the Colts winless in 4 outings, but a similarity in that both teams have had to rely on backup quarterbacks.
Well, it has been the year of backup quarterbacks for both these teams. Jack Trudeau, who plays for the Indianapolis Colts, has had a rough start, to say the least. He's been on his back more than he's been on his feet. He's been under a lot of pressure. He's trying to learn the basics of being a quarterback in the NFL under an awful lot of fire.
So the injury to Gary Hogaboom forced the rookie Trudeau right onto the firing line. But when Joe Montana went down for the 49ers, they had the luxury of an experienced backup in Jeff Kemp.
They certainly did. Jeff Kemp had a lot of experience. He's got a rocket arm. He has a lot of poise. He also has a good surrounding cast. He has people that he can throw the ball to, and he has people that can run the ball and be very, very effective. And
so during the course of the afternoon, we'll be tracking the progress of the two backup quarterbacks. There's also a long-standing relationship between these two head coaches.
Yes, there is. On the far side, that's Rod Dowhauer. He and Bill Walsh actually coached together at Stanford for 2 years, so there is a great relationship there.
And Bill Walsh on the 49er sideline. He's the president and the coach of the 49ers, and that career record, 69-49, means that he needs only 3 more wins to be the all-time winningest 49er coach. He also has, of course, the 2 Super Bowl wins without a loss to his credit. The 49ers will receive when we get the game underway. This is a rare meeting between these two teams. Matter of fact, they haven't played since 1972. And Jeff Kemp, the backup quarterback to Joe Montana, thrust into the starting job, and he's been just absolutely nearly flawless. He has done a good job. Meanwhile, his counterpart on the Colts, Trudeau, has struggled, as you might expect, and he has a doubly tough assignment because he's just learning the offense, much less beginning to read NFL defenses.
Absolutely. He did not have the luxury of going into preseason thinking that he was going to be a starting quarterback. So conversely, he was running plays against the defense thinking he was going to be a backup. He's a rookie. It takes 4 or 5 years in this league to learn this game, and he is under an awful lot of fire.
Dean Biasucci is teeing it up to kick it off for the Indianapolis Colts. And deep for the 49ers are Harmon and Monroe.
Tom, as I walked out on the field is in absolutely beautiful condition. We do have an infield problem. It's a former baseball field, of course.
San Francisco Giants just finishing their season, and they'll cover it up after this game, but right now they'll play with a skinned infield. Biasucci with the kick and the game underway. Fielded just a step inside the end zone and taken out, fumbled finally by Tony Cherry. He falls on it back at about the 17-yard line as Jeff Kemp comes onto the field. Here's the starting lineup offensively for the 49ers. The backs and receivers. Rice leads the NFC in receiving yards. Tom Rathman, a rookie, replaces the injured Roger Craig. And Joe Cribbs, shaking off a calf injury, due for a big day, they hope, today. A veteran offensive line. Ayers is a 10-year veteran. Quillen 9, Cross 11, Fonhorst 13 years in experience. 49ers put it in play. And they'll begin from their own 17-yard line. First down, the running backs Rathman and Cribbs behind Jeff Kemp, the quarterback. Cribbs to the line of scrimmage, gets to the outside. Gains 7 or 8 yards on the play. Cribbs finally stopped by Nesby Glasgow with help from Lamont Hunley. Here's the way the Colts line up. Defensively, rookie John Hamm, the Colts' first-round draft choice out of Alabama, one of the starters on the defensive line. Last year's top choice, Dwayne Bickett, heads the linebackers with Lamont Hunley starting in place of the injured Barry Krause. And in the secondary, Eugene Daniel, who has led Indianapolis in interceptions the past 2 years, the man to watch there. 2nd and 2 for the 49ers. The ball just shy of the 25-yard line. Opening offensive series of the game. Russ Francis in motion. Here's the pitch to Cribbs, trying the other side. Tries to get a block in the corner, picks up the first down, out of bounds at the 30, run out by Leonard Coleman.
The real success of Joe Cribbs today is going to depend upon Tom Rathman, who's the other blocking back. Now, here's Tom Rathman, number 44 in your picture. Now, watch. He has to pick up the end man on the line of scrimmage. Good into his legs, drops him down, and that's enough to allow Joe Cribbs to get around the outside. In talking with their offensive people, they say they want Joe Cribbs to have an exciting day today, perhaps get even 100 yards rushing.
Cribbs has had an injured right calf. He's the 6-year veteran out of Auburn who came to the 49ers in a trade with Buffalo. First down for San Francisco. The ball at the 31. Play action pass. Camp overshoots his man. It was almost intercepted. Tate Randall had a hand on it with a dive-in attempt. Couldn't get it. The pass intended for Jerry Rice.
One of the things that the Colts have got to do is get pressure on Jeff Kemp. They cannot allow him. Now watch Dwayne Bickett. He's on the outside, number 50. He comes around inside Bubba Paris, throws him down, and he really gets a stick on Jeff Kemp late. But that's what they have to do. They cannot allow Jeff Kemp to get into his normal routine. He will absolutely pick him apart.
On 2nd and 10, the 49ers get John Frank, a second tight end of the game, as Joe Cribbs comes out. Rathman, the lone setback. Flag down. Kemp's got a man wide open. Complete for the first down to Francis. Shy of midfield. 16-yard strike. Let's check the penalty.
And we're having a little bit of an argument down there. Donnell Thompson, number 99, felt that he had been clipped, and we do have a flag down. We'll have to wait for a call, but he was quite upset after the play.
Jerry Seaman heads the officiating crew today. And the preliminary signal is illegal procedures. Seaman and the rest of his officials, including Fred Silva, the replay man upstairs.
And in this game, the Colts have got to get some emotion.
Illegal formation, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage, second down.
They have got to come out with some emotion. They cannot get behind early or they'll just fade. Their coaching staff knows that. They're trying to pump them up, get enthusiasm. Even Barry Krause made the trip this week just to bring that emotional enthusiasm to this defensive unit.
Krause, the top tackler, injured last week and on injured reserve. Cribbs back in, 2nd and 15. Rathman in motion. Kemp sets up a screen. This is Cribbs. Got a couple of blocks, took it shy of the 35-yard line where he stopped by Eugene Daniel. Cribbs' NFL career, of course, he had 1,000-yard years back-to-back when he broke in with Buffalo and was AFC Rookie of the Year back in 1980. Went to the USFL, then back briefly with Buffalo last year, not happy. Traded to the 49ers here in 1986. 3rd and 7 coming up for the San Francisco 49ers. No score in the game. This is the opening drive. The 49ers took the opening kickoff. They've advanced it just shy of their own 35. Kemp across the middle. Francis wide open to midfield and a first down. 16 yards on the play.
Well, anytime you give a quarterback this much time and don't put anybody in his face, you're going to find a tight end, number 81, Russ Francis, open. Now watch this. It's just a simple go down, drive off. He's a big person. He can come down. Watch this now. Watch the fingertips there. The good concentration. But he is just such a big person that he can drive the defensive back off and make that cut. And he's a big target.
6'6", 242 pounds, 11-year veteran out of Oregon, and a 3-time Pro Bowler. His 14th reception of the season, coming right there for 16 yards and a Niner first down at midfield. Kemp again to the air. Wide open Rice. Another San Francisco first down. Leonard Coleman, the quarterback, gave him plenty of room, then made the tackle, but it went for 14 yards.
And they will take care of this all day long. If Leonard Coleman gives this much space to a Jerry Rice with the speed he has, it's going to be a long day out there. You can see Leonard Coleman comes back and makes the tackle, but he's playing about, look at this, you don't even see Leonard Coleman in the picture here when he makes his cut. He's 7-8 yards back off the ball, and that's a big pickup for San Francisco.
Rice averages 19 yards per reception to lead the NFC in that category. That one for 14 and a first down. Kemp. Again, it's complete. Kemp really on target early. This one caught by Dwight Clark, his first reception of the day. He is the leading receiver for the 49ers. That's his 23rd catch of the season.
And most times when offensive units do what the 49ers are doing, they're setting up the defense. They're trying to run the short patterns to have those defensive backs close up. Then all of a sudden they give them an out fake and take off on the fly, and it's touchdown time. Let's see if, in fact, the 49ers do that in this situation.
Jeff Kemp 4 for 5 for 42 yards here on the opening drive of the game. No score in the contest. We're in the first quarter. Rathman stopped shy of the 30-yard line. Rathman, the rookie from Nebraska. Dwayne Bickett, outside linebacker, who was the Defensive Rookie of the Year in the National Football League last year, making the stop for Indianapolis. Third down, 5 yards to go coming up from the 31-yard line. 11 minutes, 23 seconds to play in the first quarter, no score. As Rathman and Cribbs come to the sideline. You see Derek Harmon, number 24, who's into the game, and John Frank, another tight end. From the shotgun on 3rd and 5. Snap. Kemp picks it up. Being chased and finally taken down on a beautiful tackle by Dwayne Bickett for a big loss on the play. 15-yard loss.
Boy, and that is something you just do not want to do. Bill Walsh is probably just besides himself because Jeff Kemp needed the foresight to throw that ball downfield. He quickly took him out of field goal position. Watch this. You'll see now there's no one open here. Now he's going to try to outrun number 50, Dwayne Bickett, who has an angle on him. He's going right down the line, and you'll see the results of it. Takes him out of a possible field goal position. That's a terrible play by Jeff Kemp.
So Runninger into punt on 4th down. He is great on putting them inside the 20. This one taken at about the 11-yard line and brought upfield. A 40-yard kick and a 7-yard return. And after the first drive of the game, we are scoreless in the first quarter from San Francisco. Scoreless first quarter in San Francisco. Let's take a look at the 10-minute ticker to check the other NFL scores as the finals begin to come in. And look what New England did to Miami today. And Jim Plunkett has come in to lead the Raiders from 17-0 to go ahead.
Yes, he has. He really is coming in and doing well.
See the rest of the scores around the league.
Buddy Ryan in quite an upset there. Philadelphia over Atlanta.
First defeat for the Falcons. So the Indianapolis Colts and rookie quarterback Jack Trudeau have the ball for the first time. They start from their own 13. McMillan and Wansley the setbacks. Now they go to the I formation. Wansley the tailback. Trudeau fumbles and falls on it at the 10-yard line. So Jack Trudeau not off to a very good start. Let's check that offensive lineup for Indianapolis. Here are the backs and receivers. The rookie Trudeau put it up 53 times last week. Another rookie, Bill Brooks, earns a start today at wide receiver for Indianapolis. The offensive line has allowed an NFL-high 21 sacks, a young group anchored by center Ray Donaldson, last year's Colt MVP. Second and 13 now to go for Indianapolis. Flags down as the pitch comes back to Randy McMillan. Driven out of bounds. We'll check the penalty markers. Michael Walter making the stop for San Francisco. It's going to go against the 49ers. And while we wait, let's take a look at the 49er defense, ranked 4th in the NFL. Michael Carter, the Pro Bowler, former Olympic shot putter, heads the defensive line.
Number 94 defense lined up in the neutral zone.
Linebacking core includes All-Pro Keena Turner and Ricky Ellison, who has 14 tackles, leading the backers in that department. And you'll see 2 rookies at the corners today for San Francisco. Both McKyer and Griffin have played well. Of course, one of the best safeties in the game, Ronnie Lott, leads the team in tackles and interceptions.
And Tom, you would think that a lot of teams could take advantage of 2 rookie cornerbacks, but these have not been taken advantage of this season.
5-yard penalty against San Francisco makes it 2nd and 8 now for Indianapolis. Split backs are McMillan and Wansley. Beach in motion. Here's Trudeau with his first pass attempt. Hit as he released, he threw it right into the arms of a waiting San Francisco receiver. And it is Tim McKyer, the rookie, that takes it 21 yards, 22 yards for the touchdown. And that pretty well tells the story of the kind of season it's been for Jack Trudeau.
Well, in fairness to Jack Trudeau, he was hit in the back just as he threw the ball and had no follow-through. He didn't even see what happened to the pass. I believe it was a blitz by Milt McCall from the outside. And he really stuffed Jack Trudeau on that play, and it cost him to throw the ball short.
So the third interception for the rookie Tim McKyer, who's off to a tremendous start in his pro career. That one, though, right to him from Trudeau as he was hit just as he released the ball by Milt McCall. Ray Wersching on to attempt the extra point. Wersching, 11 for 11 in point after touchdown. So San Francisco has a 7-0 lead as Jack Trudeau on the Indianapolis sideline has thrown an interception on his first pass attempt for the afternoon. 49ers lead 7-0. Rookie McKyer with the interception off rookie Trudeau, and San Francisco has a quick 7-0 lead with 9:54 to play in the first quarter. Trudeau under tremendous pressure as he let the ball go, and made an unwise decision as he threw it into double coverage, and it cost him. One of the reasons, Dave, for the 49ers' success so far this season is this giveaway takeaway ratio that now shows a +7 on San Francisco's side.
Right.
Wersching kicks it deep to Bentley of Indianapolis, who takes it 1 yard deep. Bentley stops shy of the 20, about the 17-yard line. There's a fight breaking out as frustration already evident in this Indianapolis team. So the takeaways have been very important to the success of the 49ers, and you see how important. In fact, the only one of those that they didn't win was the snowball game. Remember that in Denver last year?
And this is what a takeaway is. This play. This is what happens when you get great pressure on your quarterback. Now watch from your left side. You're going to see Milt McCall, 53. Playoff. Now look, he hits Trudeau right in the back, dumps the ball forward, and that's what you call a takeaway. That's when the defense takes it away from the offense. And rarely do you score, but that's quite a big play.
Last year, when the 49ers got off to a disappointing start, they were struggling in the takeaway giveaway department, and they have 15 more, a +15 differential last year versus this year at the same time. This is Orlando Lowry, the injured player on the field for the Indianapolis Colts. Looks like it could be a knee, Dave.
Yes, it does. That's what they're doing right there. They're lifting it up. It's good to see them bend it. Most times when they don't bend it, that's when you know you have the seriousness when they're checking the side. But I believe he's going to get up on his feet and be all right.
Lowry, second-year veteran out of Ohio State.
That giveaway takeaway ratio is something that has come in about the last 5 or 6 years. They've kept track of that, and you find the teams that win consistently do the good things on defense. They take the ball away by fumbles and by interceptions. They don't give it away by fumbles on their offense.
Just activated for the 49ers, Eric Wright, who's hoping to play today in the secondary for the 49ers, and he's trying to earn some respect.
Boy, he has respect. I know he says he has to establish his territorial rights, but he is a perennial All-Pro. He is Mr. Excitement back there. What a dynamic hitter.
How tough is it for Trudeau to go right back on the field after throwing that first interception?
Well, this is really a gut check for him. He has got to come out and start something offensively. If he doesn't get something started here, it's going to be a long afternoon for him.
First down, Colts from the 19. They trail 7-0, 9:43 first quarter. On the ground to give to McMillan. Not much there. He gets it right back to the line of scrimmage. And still short of the 20-yard line. Now the 10-minute ticker to check the games. Raiders continuing to lead, and that come from behind effort against the Chiefs. Philadelphia still in front of Atlanta. And the Green Bay Packers still apparently on their way to a winless start. As you check the late starting games, the Rams on the board early against Tampa Bay. 2nd and 9 for the Colts. Trudeau hands off again. This time it's McMillan right up the middle, gets 2 yards. Michael Carter, the nose tackle, the Pro Bowler, makes his 10th tackle of the season. You'll remember he was the silver medal winner in the 1984 Olympics for the United States.
Fantastic strength in his upper body. He has got the greatest leg drive I've seen of a defensive lineman in a long while. He just is, well, he's just the epitome of what you have to be a nose tackle. Compact, great leg strength. He gets up underneath the center and really just stands him up and can move wherever he wants to.
3rd and 6, another patching situation for Trudeau. He's in the shotgun. Niners show the blitz, then back out of it. Incomplete right at the first down marker, intended for Bill Brooks, but knocked away at the last moment by Tim McKyer. They're trying the rookie McKyer, and he's been equal to the challenge.
And Trudeau again made a poor decision. He threw into double coverage. They were rotating the zone that way. There were 2 men on his wide receiver. He had time to sit back there and pick out the receiver, but he just made a poor choice early.
Ron Stark will be on to kick for the Indianapolis Colts. He leads the National Football League, averaging 46.7 a kick. Griffin is deep for the 49ers. You see his stats, and he is an NFC leader. Stark gets away a beautiful high kick. Fair catch called for and taken. It was a 49-yard kick by Stark, and there's Tim McKyer, the rookie cornerback for the 49ers, who has the only score in the game. Welcome back to Candlestick, and Dave, they told us we'd have the best seat in the house, but I'm telling you what, we're way up. We can see the mountains in the distance from the roof of Candlestick Park. Here's an idea how high above the field we are, looking kind of straight down on the players on the Candlestick surface.
We are looking at the backs of the tops of the players, that's for sure.
49ers with a 7-0 lead have it, and they keep it on the ground as the flag goes down. Joe Cribbs pounds ahead to the 30-yard line with Willie Broughton, the nose tackle, making the stop, but they'll step off a penalty apparently against Jeff Kemp's 49er offense.
And Tom, in this game, there are certain positions that have to play well for Indianapolis, more so than others. Donnell Thompson has got to play well today. He has got to get in there and be a factor in this game. Sometimes he plays with great emotion, sometimes he's at the bottom of the ocean.
Illegal motion prior to the snap. Number 28 offense. Still first down.
So Cribbs was guilty of the illegal motion. It'll be 1st and 15 now for the 49ers as the football set back to the 22-yard line. Rathman and Cribbs are the setbacks. Cribbs, blockers. Fumbles the ball, recovered by Indianapolis. To the whistle blow? No, they say Indianapolis has the fumble recovery. Cribbs coughed it up, and Dwayne Bickett fell on it for Indianapolis.
I'll tell you, Joe Cribbs, yeah, I know he fumbles on the end, but watch when he sees the hole. Watch the vision that he comes. It's coming right at you now. He sees the cut back inside, right there. See that cut right there, back inside? That's what makes a great running back, when you can set up those blockers and have that great vision into the hole. Now he fumbles at the tail end, gives it up.
There's fighting for extra yardage that really caused him the fumble.
Right, you'll see him rip the ball out, just rake it across the hands. That's what the second man in does, and Dwayne Bickett's really just Mr. Johnny on the spot.
Indianapolis has it first down at the San Francisco 38 to see if the Colts can take advantage of the turnover. Trudeau got a man wide open. McMillan incomplete. He just threw it right into the turf.
Well, you talked about what does that quarterback have going through his mind after he's been sacked and thrown that interception. Of course, Joe Cribbs has got in his mind, I should never have fumbled it. But to Jack Trudeau, what he has to do, he has to have ice water in his veins right now. He's been burned. He threw that interception. It's gone against him. Everybody's down on him. But quarterbacks have got to have that cockiness when they walk out there. If you intercept 2 on him, he'll keep on throwing them. That's the way Kenny Stabler used to do it. He was very, very successful.
Trudeau 0 for 3 with the 1 interception for a touchdown to start the game. 7:36 remaining first quarter. 49ers lead 7-0. He just floated that one right out of bounds, way over the head of the intended receiver, Matt Bouza, who, by the way, was covered.
Yes, he was covered. But what he's doing now is he's kind of pressing a little bit. He's trying to get back. One of the goals that he sets for himself is not to be tackled, not to be sacked. And in his efforts not to be sacked, it looks as if he's trying to hurry the ball. He knows he's going to be under a lot of pressure, but you just cannot hurry. You have to have that feel back there when that man breaks open. And Bouza wasn't even near his cut when, in fact, Trudeau let go of the ball.
Rod Dowhauer's rookie quarterback having his problems. 0 for 4, looking for his first completion to his teammates. The 1 interception for the touchdown by McKyer. 3rd down and 10. Shotgun. There's completion almost. Owen Gill dropped it as he was sandwiched by the 2 defensive players. Ronnie Lott came in there with a big hit to help knock the ball loose. And Tom Holmoe also assisting as Owen Gill came near to making the first reception.
Well, this ball was lucky. It almost wasn't intercepted. Really, he flips the ball in and look at double coverage coming towards him. And look at that shot that he gets in the head. Ouch, he just really got creamed on that ball.
Trudeau takes his lumps as he lets the ball go, as he did a week ago against the Jets. But one thing about Trudeau, he's not afraid to get hit, and he is a tough competitor.
He certainly is. He's going to have to learn how to take those hits, but he has got to have that confidence back there. He's got to show a little bit more poise under fire.
Here's Stark's kick on 4th down. He'll try to just kick it inside the 20 if he can. Griffin cradles it with a fair catch at the 10-yard line. A 28-yard kick on the Indianapolis sideline. Jack Trudeau, the rookie, still looking for his first completion. San Francisco in front. Randall Lowry has a bruised right knee. His status for the rest of the game questionable. San Francisco with a first down from its own 10-yard line, and Kemp retreats for a pass. As a man wide open, it is complete for a 49er first down. 18-yard strike as Jeff Kemp continues to riddle the Indianapolis defense with successful passes throughout the afternoon.
Well, we talked about Dwayne Bickett. Now watch how far back downfield he's covering. As soon as he sees the ball thrown, now he just sprints back in there and gets in the tackle. But they just cannot. Eugene McDaniels cannot give that much room on the play on Jerry Rice. He has got to cover him closer. But Dwayne Bickett's been a man all over the field today.
Rice with a first down reception as the 49ers pick up another first down as they move it to the 40 or to 28-yard line. Flags fly. Kemp completes again to Rice. Dodged a tackler, then taken down at the 35-yard line by Johnny Cooks and Lamont Hundley. Jerry Seaman will sort out the penalty. It's going to be another illegal procedure against San Francisco.
They probably just changed the snap count this week over last week because they are just moving just a half a count ahead of time.
Bill Walsh does not like mistakes. He is a man that prides himself on perfect execution of his teams, and we asked him yesterday if he thought he demanded more mentally from his players than most coaches, and he said, after thinking a minute, I believe so.
Well, they've had that same problem that they just had called again. 6 men on the line of scrimmage, so the end man on the line of scrimmage is not getting up there, not getting his foot within the foot or so from the ball.
Games in progress on our ticker. The Rams have upped their lead over the Bucks. It'll be 1st and 15 now from San Francisco. They lead 7-0. 6 minutes to play in the first quarter. Rathman to the 25, where he's collared by Armstrong. Harvey Armstrong, defensive end, with the rookie John Hand out of Alabama assisting on the play.
That is where the Colts have got to control the line of scrimmage. They cannot allow this 49er team to run against them. They've been very successful with the run in the past, but they have not been successful this year, and they have got to stop them. If they don't stop the run, boy, oh boy, I'll tell you, they can run and pass at will.
49er offense has been cooking all season. They're 3rd in the NFL, 14th on the ground, and 2nd through the air. 2nd and 13 here. Kemp goes deep and overshoots Rice, who was streaking down the sideline. Leonard Coleman trying to defend him. Rice had the step, but the pass overthrown by Kemp.
Well, that's what you call a keep 'em honest play. Leonard Coleman is starting to creep up a little bit, so all of a sudden they just throw Jerry Rice on a fly pattern with his great speed and hope. The worst thing you're going to do is have a long incompletion. But on that play, if he keeps on playing back like that, they're going to be able to throw underneath him all day long. And Jerry Rice has already caught 3 or 4 balls. He's really going to be effective today.
3rd and 13 coming up for the 49ers. Ball at their own 25-yard line. Across the middle, Kemp has it almost intercepted. Right in and out of the hands of Johnny Cooks, the linebacker, and no reason that he couldn't have caught that one. Hit him right in the hands. Bad decision by Kemp, intending to get the pass to Mike Wilson.
Well, they really dodged a bullet on this play because really Johnny Cooks should have come down. Watch 98. It hits him right in both hands. He jumps up. There's no excuse for missing this one. All week long you practice catching that ball, and you can just chalk that one up to a bad play by Johnny Cooks.
So Runnagers in to punt on 4th down for the 49ers. It's taken by Martin, looking for room. Nothing there, down at the 35-yard line. 39-yard kick. Martin loses a yard on the return. Well, coming up, of course, the Fall Classic on NBC Sports. Hope you'll join us for the 1986 World Series. This is going to be a prime time World Series. All the games in prime time. It'll all start Saturday night, October 18th here on NBC. Do you have World Series picks made yet?
Oh, I haven't picked them. That's that little ball that doesn't have the points on the end, right? When you have a 6'8" strike zone, you don't play that sport.
Indianapolis Colts with a first down at their own 35-yard line. Trudeau to McMillan. Has some running room. Takes it up for about a 9-yard gain. Randy McMillan with the best offensive play of the afternoon thus far for the Colts. Carlton Williamson, the strong safety, had to come up to make the stop.
And this is a misdirection delay play, so it really gives time for the block to. Now you'll see how slowly he hands the ball off. Now there's McMillan. Good vision into the hole. He picks up Hutt there. Salt gets a good block. And he picks up, as you said, the biggest run that they've had all day. They picked up about 8 yards on that play.
Last year, the Colts led the NFL in average rushing yards, averaging 5 a carry last year, but their running game ineffective in 1986. 2nd and 2. Wansley. Close to the first down marker, but I believe just a little bit short.
Now
up front, it's been a tough battle between Ray Donaldson, the center for the Colts.
Look at this matchup here. Donaldson and Carter. Now, Carter's getting double teamed, but look how he stays right up in the middle. He's 95 right in the middle. Wansley runs right into the back of him. That's a great play by Michael Carter, and he's going to have his hands full today because Ray Donaldson is considered one of the premier centers in the league. So we really look for an exciting matchup there.
3rd and 1 for Indianapolis, looking for their first down of the afternoon. Couldn't get the play off in time. 3rd and 1, looking for their first down, and they take too long. Again, is that a function of a rookie quarterback?
Yes, it absolutely is.
Offense.
He has got to be cognizant of that 30-second clock, which is in the end zone. And Rod Dowhauer, he knows that a seasoned quarterback does not make that mistake. When you come up to the line of scrimmage, you just look off into the end zone, and you can see the 30-second clock. He just was not cognizant of it, let it run on down, and consequently, instead of 3rd and 1, now he's got 3rd and 6. It brings up a passing situation. And he's going to be under a lot of pressure. There's the 30-second clock, and you can see how visible it is from the sideline and where the quarterback is standing out in the field. Very, very large sign.
I tell you, though, in Trudeau's defense, the sun is shining right on that one, and it's difficult to see. 3rd and 6 here for the Colts. Catch made for a first down by Tim Sherwin, the reserve tight end. 11-yard gain and a Colt first down. Also Trudeau's first pass completion of the afternoon.
Now that's got to pump him up, but really Tim Sherwin makes a baseball catch out of this, a one-hander. But look at the pocket starting to collapse around Trudeau. But watch this catch. One hand just brings it on in there, picks up the first down. That's got to give him some pumped up. Now watch Trudeau on the tail end of this. You'll see what his vision is after the play. There's the pass. Boom, he's getting hit and smacked in the head.
He rarely sees one of his own completions. First down for the Colts. Their initial first down of the afternoon. They're at the 49-yard line. Tipped up, and finally it falls incomplete. A couple of 49ers had a shot at it. The pass intended again for Sherwin across the middle. McKyer once again right in the middle of the play for the 49ers.
McKyer has been all over the place today. He already has one interception. He's tipped down 2 or 3 balls. I was watching Trudeau that time when he set up the pass. He gets antsy feet. He started jumping in spot when he's standing in the pocket there. He's not standing poised and confident in there. He's a little bit tentative because he's been under such pressure.
A reminder that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game coming up at the end of the contest. 2nd and 10 for Indianapolis from their own 49. 49ers lead 7-0, 2:17 first quarter. There's a completion to Bouza, who takes it for another Indy first down. 14-yard gain. Matt Bouza makes the reception. He is the leading receiver on this Colt team.
Now this is the difference of a good setup and a bad setup. This time when he dropped back, watch his feet again. Just a little tiny stutter step, but he's more planted. Now watch right there. See a little tiny stutter step, but bam, he's planted. He follows through. It's a good pattern. Now that's the confidence that he has to have. When he gets back in that pocket, he has to set up and follow through. It's a good curl pattern. In other words, Booza turn right back to the line of scrimmage, and they pick up the first down.
Booza played at the University of California in Berkeley. Boyer and Sherman, two tight ends on first down for the Colts. Flags down as Owen Gill gets the call and pounds ahead to about the 34-yard line. Jerry Seaman will short it out. In the meantime, let's look at the ticker. No change since our last report. Dallas-Denver, a big game, and scoreless in the second period.
Face mask, number 67 defense, still first down.
So the face mask called against Pete Kugler, four-year veteran out of Penn State, and Indianapolis getting the breaks as far as the penalties are concerned.
Well, that'll help you faster than anything on offense when your offense is not moving the ball to get a good penalty. That was the inadvertent face mask, so it was only 5 yards.
1:14 to play in the first quarter. 1st and 2 for the Colts, who trail 7-0. Owen Gill. Nice spin by Gill, who takes it for the first down to the 25-yard line of San Francisco before Ronnie Lott takes him down. Owen Gill, the second-year player out of Iowa, the leading rusher in Iowa football history. Not been that tough career-wise yet for the Colts, but they look for good things out of him.
Well, it's hard for a running back to establish himself when he doesn't get to play consistently. When he's in for 3 or 4 plays and then he's out and sits out 4 or 5 series and then he gets back in there. But you can see he has the statistics back in college to back a great rushing career, and perhaps that's a great future here in the NFL.
Picks up in the Colts offense, and Trudeau has to call for a timeout. Something did not go right with the formation, the players he had in the game, and Trudeau wastes one of his timeouts. So Rod Dowhauer's club continues to sputter a little bit, though they have the ball in good field position here on their best drive of the afternoon. 31 seconds remaining in the first quarter. The San Francisco 49ers, off the interception in return for a touchdown by McKyer, continue to lead 7-0. Here's the kind of matchup the Colts offense is facing today. They have sputtered with only 27 points in the first 4 games. Meanwhile, the 49ers have allowed just 56, the second fewest in the league, with the Vikings the leader in that category. A tough task for the Colt offense, but currently in the midst of their best drive of the day. It began back on the Indianapolis 35, and now they have it with a first down at the 25 of San Francisco. Sherman in motion. Whistles blow the play dead before Trudeau has it batted right back in his face. No play, though. Whistles blew before the play. Actually, the play was underway, but not yet completed. Here's Jerry Seaman.
False start, number 71 offense. Prior to the snap, reset the clock to 31 seconds, please. 31 seconds.
So 31 seconds in the first quarter goes back on the game clock. Rod Dowhauer sees another penalty, a 5-yarder against his club. Whistled against Kevin Call. There are the yards penalized so far today. The 49ers have taken the worst of it, but the Colts penalties have come at key times.
Key times is exactly right. That short 3rd down and 1 when they had the penalty and didn't get the first down. And now the similar situation. 5-yard penalties. Those are almost inexcusable. You don't have that happen to teams that have a lot of poise and confidence in their offense.
Second down now coming up for Indianapolis. Excuse me, another first down. 1st and 15, I should say. 1st and 15 here. Trudeau on the draw play to Gill. Stopped at the 22-yard line. And I would imagine that Rod Dowhauer would want to give Trudeau a little protection to keep them honest with the draws and the screens and some safe-type passes as you see the clock ticking off the seconds here in the first quarter.
Absolutely right. He makes the calls on the sideline, and he signals the plays in, so it does take a lot of pressure off of Trudeau to make his own calls.
So the first quarter comes to an end at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Rod Dowhauer and Indianapolis Colts, Bill Walsh and the San Francisco 49ers, with the Niners up 7-0. Rowe from Candlestick Park, ready to start the second quarter. Those first quarter stats won't impress anybody.
Yeah, well, they certainly won't, but there's one that's not there, and that's the turnover category where these 49ers came up with a big interception and scored the 7 points. That's not on there, but you can see they're playing relatively even. I guess time of possession was even. They each had the ball about the same.
From the 22-yard line of San Francisco, Indianapolis has the ball. Second down, 7 yards to go. Trudeau in the pocket. Across the middle and close to another first down. Owen Gill out of the backfield made the reception. Milt McCall made the stop, but it'll be a Colt first down as the drive continues.
When you play conservatively, you're not going to make mistakes, and that's what Trudeau is doing now. He's trying to play conservative, little tiny in patterns to Owen Gill there, little tiny hooks where they just turn back. They're solid targets. You're not going for the home run, but you're not going to make mistakes. If he can keep in that type of philosophy, he may be successful on this drive.
At the Niner 14-yard line, a Colt first down. Gill got a block on the corner and takes it inside the 10. Albert Bentley was the man that made the block on the corner to give Gill the running room. Ronnie Lott made a saving tackle for San Francisco.
Albert Bentley really came back on it. Look at that block there. That's Albert Bentley coming back on a crackback. That's where he's on the end line of scrimmage and he cracks back or blocks back on the end man. You can see the contact there. That was quite a hit.
So Jack Trudeau now with his best drive of the day continuing. He can smell the goal line, and this would be a big lift for the Colts to score against that tough 49er defense. 13:40 to play in the second quarter. San Francisco leads 7-0. Gill inside the 5 and close to a Colt first down. Ronnie Lott again on the tackle.
And in this situation, there's 1,000 things going through the mind of young Jack Trudeau. Don't fumble the snap. Don't miss the handoff. Make sure that you've got the snap count. He's a young man under a lot of pressure out there. He knows if he scores in this situation, they're going to be tied. It's going to lift his offense. And Rod Dowhauer, he's just signaling in a play that will be a very conservative play, something that's worked. They've looked at it practice, they've watched on films, and they know will work. They want a conservative play to get down in there and score.
First down for the Colts at the San Francisco 3. Gill falls short of the goal line by about a yard. Owen Gill has really been the workhorse on this drive, which began at the Indianapolis 35.
He certainly has. We talked about his statistics in college. There's his right now. You can see 6 for 28 yards, but he has been the workhorse. He's been the only real bright light back there in the running game, and he's played well so far.
Second and goal for Indianapolis from the 1-yard line of San Francisco. Denver leading Dallas in that big game at Mile High Stadium. And Tampa Bay on the board against the Rams. Here's Gill again. He's got the touchdown. Gill carried the ball 7 times, including the clincher from 1 yard out. Bill Walsh is perturbed at his defense on the San Francisco sideline, and Rod Dowhauer sees his team get a big lift with the touchdown by Gill.
Now, I can tell you, for a team that's behind like the Colts have been and down, this is such an emotional lift. You just can't believe what this does to your defense. Your defense wants to go out there and play again. Now, this is ground level. You're going to see Owen Gill hit in the hole and just kind of bounce out the side to the outside and just step in the end zone. But emotionally, this has to be a big pickup for the Colts. They realize now if they can score against them, and if their defense can come out and hold them, they can be in this game and possibly even have a chance to win.
Biasucci ties it up with a point after. The hero of the drive was Owen Gill, who carried for the touchdown, and the Colts have tied the game at 7.
Today's game is brought to you by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Tom Hammond and Dave Rowe from Candlestick Park in San Francisco, where the Colts have just had a beautiful 65-yard drive to tie the game at 7. Dean Biasucci ready to kick it off for the Colts. Biasucci sends it right to the corner and out of bounds, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty and a re-kick. And while we wait for them to tee it up and kick it off again, let's take another look at the touchdown run by Gill.
Now watch this with Gill. Now watch, right there's the hole. Now watch how he just kind of skips to the outside and just steps into the end zone. A good selection by him. A lot of times when that back puts his head down and just barrels ahead, he's not going to score. But when he has that vision, be able to pick that hole to the outside, they usually go in.
This was a beautiful drive by the Colts, and Trudeau hit 3 of 4 for 32 yards on the drive, so perhaps he has found himself as the Colts come on to tie it up at 7-7. How tough is it for these 49ers, Dave, to play a team like the Colts that is winless so far?
Well, it is very hard for them because emotionally they realize this is a game that they are supposed to win. Now there's a statistic that's interesting. That's their first touchdown allowed rushing in 15 games. But the emotions, I remember when I used to go out in a game like this, you're favored by 17, 18 points, you're supposed to win, it's supposed to be a week off, and a lot of times these teams can creep up on you and they can score. And this emotion has changed now. Indianapolis all of a sudden says, hey, we're back in this game. We can play and we could even possibly win.
The Asinci kicks it again. This will be a short kick taken by Tony Cherry. At the 25, he's stormed under by white-shirted Colts defenders on special teams. In fact, they pick him up and throw him back another 5 yards or so. Draws a few boos, but no penalty flags. Mike Lush was the man doing the damage for the Colts. Stay with us now at halftime. Coming up at halftime, in addition to all the scores and highlights, we'll talk a little baseball as well. A baseball playoff preview as the Mets get set to play the Astros in the National League and the Red Sox and Angels in the American League. So football and baseball coming up at halftime with Bob, Ahmad, and Paul. Hope they didn't hear that. First down for San Francisco from the 25. Cribbs. Nothing there. Beautiful play by that Indianapolis defense. Lamont Hundley starting in place of the injured Barry Krause, whose older brother Ricky starts at a linebacker for Denver, comes right up to make the beautiful stop on Cribbs.
And the pressure is really on Lamont Hundley, number 56. You're going to see him come out here. Now watch what Cribbs does. He tries to sneak back underneath, but Hundley gets that left arm on. A lot of linebackers work on that upper body, that strength in the upper body and the arms, and that's what Lamont Hundley did that time. He just kind of got his arm out there and just hung on.
Hundley, 6'2", 238 pounds, second-year veteran out of Arizona. That one went for a loss of 2 at 2nd and 12. Rice is in motion. Here's the pitch back to Rice from Clark, and the Colts were ready for it. They stopped it. It gained about maybe 8 or 9 yards on the play, but the Colts not fooled. Johnny Cooks and Leonard Coleman were ready for the pitch from Clark back to Rice.
Well, that was run into the far into the field. It was an interesting play, and that Rice was really coming on the outside. If he gets outside, he's all the way. Now, this is the Mike Morawski. That's the one that signals in the play, number 15 with the baseball hat. He signals in the play, and then, of course, Jeff Kemp, son of Jack Kemp. He takes the call and, of course, calls it in the huddle.
3rd and 3 for San Francisco. One of the San Francisco men moved prematurely. That'll be a 5-yard penalty against the 49ers. Cribbs is the one that had the pitch back, but the play already blown dead, and the 49ers not
False start prior to the snap, number 71 offense. It'll still be 3rd down after a 5-yard penalty.
Well, that's the emotional factor that I was talking about. That's Keith Vonhorst. There's George Hill. He's the defensive coordinator. He's signaling in what he wants, the stunt he wants. The first signal then when he had crossed arms there is usually a line, and that with his hand under the elbow is the secondary coverage.
Pickett you see coming out of the game and getting a pat from Hill, and his defense with a 3rd and 8 situation facing them. From the 27-yard line of San Francisco, game tied 7-7 with 10 minutes to play in the half. Kemp sack, ball loose. Recovered by the 49ers. Harvey Armstrong hit Kemp, knocked the ball loose, and it was Randy Cross that fell on it for San Francisco.
And that has to be a big play for Harvey Armstrong. You'll see him, number 79. He's going to come right there and right in front of him. Now watch me, just kind of bumps in there. Now look at the shot he hits Kemp with. That was a fumble, I believe, and Cross comes up with it.
So 2 sacks for the Colts today. They had only 3 coming into the game.
That's exactly right. Only 3 in the first 4 games.
Runeger with the punt. Martin retreats and takes it at his 20. Got some blockers. Finally driven out of bounds at the 40-yard line with a flag on the play. A 58-yard kick. 20-yard return by Martin, but a penalty flag down. Runeger, the punter, is the man that finally made the tackle.
And where that flag is thrown, it's usually an illegal block in the back. That means that it's going to be a personal foul. Clip. Now that's the bigger penalty. There's 2 blocks that they call there. They either call the clip where you actually dive in the back of the legs. That's the 15-yard penalty. Or the other one is what they call the illegal block to the back, where you just kind of push him with your hand. But this is the clip.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Number 84 receiving team during the return. First down.
So the penalty against Indianapolis, against Mark Boyer for the illegal bark. And there's Armstrong, who just made the big play defensively. And the Indianapolis Colts will have the ball when we come back, trying to break the deadlock. Earlier by Cleveland in the game for San Francisco, and an outside linebacker replacing number 58, Keena Turner. First down for the Colts from their own 15-yard line. George Wansley gets the call, takes it across the 15 to about the 17, 2 or 3 yards on the play. Here's the 10-minute ticker. Denver has exploded suddenly against the Cowboys.
83 to the 18, second and 7.
Well, you want to see what it's like to play nose tackle in the NFL. Now watch Carter here. Now what he's going to do is he's going to try to get over to the play. Donaldson doesn't lose it. He keeps his balance and drives him past the play. That is a great matchup. That's just fun to watch. I love watching that.
That one netted 3 yards. It's second and 7. Trudeau. Good protection. Completes it for a first down to Bouza. Bouza takes it to the 30-yard line, and Trudeau showing us more poise now. That one good for 13 yards and a Colt first down. Don Griffin made the tackle on the play.
And that's the important thing. He is showing more poise. He's more settled in the pocket. Watch his feet. His feet aren't as nervous. He's standing in there a little bit more confident, picking up the wide receiver that's open. Early in the game, he had made a couple really poor choices, throwing into double coverage, but now he seems much more relaxed in there.
He's hit 4 of his last 5 passes, has Trudeau, and Bouza making the reception for a first down on that one. Mark Boyer, Pat beats 2 tight ends here on first down. Wansley, he didn't get much. Michael Carter, the nose tackle that time, Dave, just stopped it right up and stopped him at the line of scrimmage.
That's what you want to do as a nose tackle. You want to stuff that center and move to the play. What you do is you try to get him up with using that great arm strength, and Carter's got it. You can see he's been named to the last season's Pro Bowl squad, and he's on his way to another one this year. Great arm strength. Keep that offensive center away from you. Move to the play, and he certainly did it on that one.
Let's listen now to Jack Trudeau. McMillan stumbles forward for 2 or 3 yards on the play as the Colts continue to move it on the ground in bits and pieces. Ricky Ellison, left inside linebacker, tied for 4th on this team in tackles with 14, makes the stop there. Now Owen Gill, remember, who was the key to that long drive that scored for the Colts, bruised his shoulder on the touchdown run, and his status questionable. He certainly was the star of that drive. That could be a big blow to the Colts offense.
It certainly could. He carried that ball 7 times on that drive and was very, very productive, scoring the touchdown. Now they've got to call a timeout again because they're a little bit indecision. Jack Trudeau's trying to read the play from the sideline, and he's just not picking it up well.
So 3rd and 4, a big third down coming up for the Colts. We'll take a timeout. 6:49 in the second quarter. We're tied. And that's the man who sends in the defensive formations.
That's Norb Hefner. He is the defensive caller, signaling into the linebacker and what defense they want to run.
3rd and 4 for the Colts. Trudeau under pressure. Complete short of the first down to McMillan. Taken out of bounds by Cousineau, the outside linebacker, as Trudeau went down again.
Certainly did. There's Cousineau right there, number 57. He got a good drop here. Now watch, he's going to try to pick up back out. He's sliding back out to his zone. Good pickup on McMillan coming out of the backfield, and he just stops about the yard short of that first down. Good play by that young man.
McMillan needed to drive downfield a couple of yards more to get beyond that first down marker before he turned for the reception. Here's Stark, averaging 38.5 today with 50 his longest, and Griffin is deep for San Francisco. Stark, the left-footed kicker. Griffin calls for a fair catch and takes it at the 23-yard line. 38-yard kick, as Stark, who has returned after an injury this week, is a little below par in his punts so far this afternoon.
He usually is a 50-yard punter and has the short ones in the high 40s, but he has not kicked up the par. He is the all-time NFL leading punter.
45.16 on over 300 punts to pass the great Sammy Baugh in that department coming into this season. Look at Jeff Kemp, who leads his offense back on the field. Kemp, the 6-year veteran out of Dartmouth, who is already tossed for 5 TDs this season. Today, 6 of 9. On the ground, Chris. And a big Oh, looked like he might have broken the wrong way. He broke into the other sideline. Looked like he might have had more running room. Lamont Hundley finally made the stop, but a pretty good gain by Cribbs.
It is a good gain, but watch this cut that he makes. He did last second now. He just puts his head down. Now look, right there's the hole. He cuts right back underneath that block, but Lamont Hundley came in there and did a good job. But the interesting thing is this is a very, very serious series right here for both teams. They have got, this is the one just before halftime when the emotion, you go in either you're giving it up or you're taking it back away. This is the real emotional driver before halftime.
6 minutes to play in the half, tied at 7. Flags fly. Again, preliminary motion on the line for San Francisco. One of the linemen moved, Cribbs moved, everybody disorganized for San Francisco, and I repeat.
False start prior to the snap. Number 71 offense, still second down.
Called it on Fahnhorst for the second time, and they just don't appear to me to be sharp, perhaps because they're facing a winless team.
Well, I think that's very true. I remember the emotions when I played when we were with the Raiders. We would come in and play a team that was 2 touchdowns below us, and now they're playing at the top of their game. They're excited. They're playing a team that has a winning record, a former Super Bowl team. And then you would come in there having all the emotion, and your emotion would just be drained. So it's a tougher day for the 49ers to play. The Colts really have nothing to lose. They're not expected to win this game.
Kemp will go to the air. Complete to Cribbs. And stops short of the first down, run out of bounds at about the 26-yard line, and a flag goes down there. Hundley and Cooks chased him out of bounds after the reception. They tried to set up the screen, but a penalty flag on the field.
It's going to be a face mask against the Colts. That really hurts them because they had held them down. It was going to be about 3rd down and 7 yards, and this will bring up a possible first down. I didn't even see the face mask, to be honest with you.
Well, the flag went down right over at the sideline where Hundley chased Cribbs out of bounds, and Hundley discussing it now.
Face mask, 5-yard penalty. Number 56 defense, still second down.
It was on Hundley. Jack Vaughn, number 93, the field judge, makes the call. See if you can see it.
Well, that's on 56. The only face mask I see is on the other one. I see Cribbs giving a face mask. He grabbed 98 in the face mask. I don't think that was the right way. I don't think that call went the right way. It looked like Johnny Cooks got the face mask. I don't know where he ever saw that.
Lamont Hundley still discussing it, I think, with the field judge, Jack Vaughn.
I don't see any face mask. Now, look, right there, you'll see Cribbs' left arm come out and jam Johnny Cooks in the face mask. There's no face mask on that play.
Both Cooks and Hundley right there, and the Colts, on our replay, didn't appear to have the face mask at all. The closest hand to a face mask was Cribbs.
5-yard penalty, leaves it approximately half a yard short. It is still second down.
So half a yard short on second down. Gary Seaman with a call.
And that's one of the plays that is not being run over on the instant replay, which we have this year. It's mostly possession plays, but we've got referee signaling over there. Hey, listen. But that's one of the plays. So usually it's a possession play. It's the fumble, the interception, the touch inbounds play, and they wouldn't call that penalty back. But that was obviously not a face mask penalty against the Colts.
2nd and 1 now for San Francisco. Cribbs carries for the first down, but he didn't get much more than that as he stormed under with Cliff Odom leading the tacklers down at the bottom of the stack. On our ticker, Buffalo and the Jets are still scoreless, and Tampa Bay has come back after the Rams built that big early lead. First down, San Francisco advanced the ball to the 49er 34-yard line. 5 minutes to play in the first half. A 7-7 tie and a surprise here at Candlestick Park. Tom Hammond, Dave Rowe, along with producer Larry Cirillo, director John Gonzalez, on a beautiful Northern California afternoon. Kemp, complete to Clark. They gave him plenty of room. He turned up short of the defense, made the reception at the 45 for a 21-yard gain.
Well, what made this play work is that the Colts went into man-to-man coverage and decided to blitz. Jeff Kemp was under a lot of pressure as he stood back there and found Dwight Clark. Watch the pressure. You'll see the linebackers coming from the right side of your screen. Right there's one from the left, there's one from the right, and there's man-to-man coverage, and all Clark had to do was just turn back inside. Now watch Kemp at the tail end of this. You'll see the linebacker. See him coming from the outside there?
First down for the 49ers. Kemp will go to the air again. Did he get both feet in bounds? No. Incomplete pass. Mike Wilson did not get both feet in bounds. It'll go as an incompletion.
Now what Mike Wilson has to do on this play is when he catches that ball, he has to concentrate on getting the second foot down. There's the first one. Now watch the second foot. It's out of bounds.
That would have been a legal catch in college football, but not in the NFL.
Not in the NFL is right.
2nd and 10 for San Francisco. Mike Wilson, 6-year veteran from Washington State. And Kemp is 8 of 12 on the afternoon, approaching 100 yards. Cripps shook a tackler at midfield and just about got back to the line of scrimmage. Cliff Odom, Lamont Hundley doing a good job of that inside linebacking spots for the Indianapolis Colts. In fact, all the linebackers, to me, have played well in the first half for Indianapolis.
They certainly have. Cliff Odom that time just shot underneath the play. He has to judge whether he should go to the outside or come underneath. He shot through the hole and got an arm on Cripps and just slowed him down and turned him around and made a big play. He is always around the ball. He's their #1 tackler with 45 tackles.
Goes out of the game, does Odom, as the nickel defense comes in for Indianapolis on 3rd and 10. Scramble out of it. Bumped out of bounds right at the sideline by John Hand, the rookie, with Harvey Armstrong also applying the pressure. And it's surprising that Indianapolis has been able to put such pressure on Kemp today.
Well, they know it's a certain passing situation. John Hand, that man, 78, was really drafted to be a pass rusher. Now watch, he's going to come all the way from the left part of your screen. Kemp's going to get pressure in the middle. He's going to roll out. Now you won't even see John Hand yet. All of a sudden you're going to see him. There he comes in there. Now watch John Hand. There's the play. Now watch his coach jump in here. He kind of jumped in, just kind of tapped him on the back. Saying, great play.
Rudiger's punt. Taken on a fair catch by Robbie Martin at the Indianapolis 15-yard line. A 30-yard kick in the fair catch called. Jeff Kemp and his offense not able to get anything done against the Indianapolis Colts here in the 2nd quarter. Don't forget to stay with us at halftime. Not only will we have scores and highlights of NFL action, but we'll have a baseball playoff preview as Mike Scott of the Astros, Keith Hernandez of the Mets, Wally Joyner of the Angels, and Wade Boggs of the Red Sox get together to talk about the upcoming playoffs. That's on NFL 86 at halftime.
Tom, we have 3 minutes before halftime. It's going to be an interesting halftime for both these teams. I'll discuss a little bit more about what they're going to say in a minute after this play.
Does Indianapolis play it safe here, or do they go for the score deep in their own territory? Trudeau will pass. Deep. It's good. Brooks for the touchdown. 84 yards. Trudeau to Brooks. The rookies look up for the Colts score.
Oh, look at Bill Walsh. He is just besides himself. You don't get beat in this situation. Rod Dowhauer, he's got to be excited. We talked about the Colts having nothing to lose. I was just about to say, when you said, do they go for it? I would say, why not? They're not expected to be in this game. And Trudeau had the time to pass that ball and hit an 84-yard touchdown reception to Brooks.
And the rookie McKyer, who had the interception for the touchdown earlier, was burned on the play. So 3 rookies figure. Trudeau, the quarterback, Brooks, the receiver, and McKyer, the cornerback. And the Colts have a chance to go up 14-7 as Biasucci will try to add the extra point for Rod Dowhauer's club. A surprising turn of events before a sellout crowd at Candlestick Park. 61,000 fans and Coach Bill Walsh staring on in disbelief. The boos rain down as the Colts have taken a 14-7 lead. Here it is again.
Well, what's so interesting about this is no one's thinking pass. Everybody's thinking just go short. And he throws this ball up, and Brooks is just kind of jogging along. And really, McIver just loses his continuity with where the man was. Just tries to come up with it, and look at this, an 84-yard touchdown.
Brooks had him beaten, and Jack Trudeau, who's taken his lumps, has a chance to celebrate one, and he really showed us a rifle arm on this one.
Well, we talked about how calm he got. In the beginning of the game, he was just nervous, he was antsy, but he really had settled down to watch this emotion. Holy mackerel, he caught it.
So Trudeau, after starting the game without a completion in his first 5 attempts, has hit 6 of his last 7 for 131 yards and the go-ahead touchdown. And, of course, Trudeau loves it because He was raised in Livermore, California, about 40 minutes from here. He followed the 49ers as he was growing up. He had 28 tickets that he purchased today, about $600 worth of tickets for people that are friends and relatives of Jack Trudeau, and he has to be loving it as his 84-yard strike puts the Colts on top. There are his figures for the game so far.
Well, he has to be exciting. It's going to be an interesting halftime for both the Colts now and the 49ers. I thought the 49ers were going to get chewed out when they were 7-7. You can just imagine what it's going to be like when they go in that locker room and they're down 14-7.
Iasuchi's kick with Monroe and Hammond deep this time for San Francisco. This is taken by Hammond. He's got some running room up the sideline. Finally driven out of bounds at about the 30-yard line by John Holt.
Now there's the brain trust. That's Bill Walsh. He's telling Jeff Kemp what plays he wants him to run.
Is he telling him to play it safe, or is he telling him, let's see if we can duplicate that long touchdown strike?
I wouldn't look for him to go for the long touchdown strike, but I would look for him to pick up the intermediate passes about 18 to 20 yards so they can get down in some semblance of field goal range at least. But they have plenty of time. They've got 2 minutes and 44 seconds left.
Remember, he's got the big play man, Jerry Rice, in his lineup. Bill Walsh says maybe he's the best wide receiver in the game, certainly in the top 2 or 3, and he's averaging, coming into the game, over 19 yards a catch. He can get you some real estate in a hurry. Griggs is in motion. Here's Kemp. Of Dwight Clark, the intended receiver, and Johnny Cooks was right there with him.
What the Colts are doing now is they're trying not to get beaten deep. They're dropping 3 men deep, trying to protect against that big long bomb. Now Kemp, he has to realize he's going to get the signal from the sideline. You can look right in his face mask, look at his eyes, and tell what he's thinking. He right now has got to get some type of a drive going. Pick up that 8, 10, 12, 15 yards, get 3 or 4 first downs, and get a little bit of offensive continuity back on this 49er team.
2nd and 10 from the 49er 32-yard line. 2:39 on the clock. 14-7 Colt lead. Flags down. He didn't get the play off in time. So Trudeau made that mistake earlier. Now Kemp does it for the 49ers as the 30-second top clock had run down 2-0.
Boy, and this just compounds Bill Walsh. He has just got to be besides himself. Jeff Kemp probably doesn't even want to look over there at him. Now there's the signal. He's telling Morawski what to call. And you'll see Morawski signal in. There's the formation. There's the play. Looks like a throw over the middle.
I tell you what, that little dip that he did there has kind of been indicative of the 49er offense so far in the game. They've not gotten much done. They have not scored. The defense has the only 49er points. Let's listen now to Jeff Kemp as he calls the signals. 2nd and 15. Close to the first down to Jerry Rice. He was double covered, and still Kemp was able to thread the needle for a 17-yard gain. Coleman and Randall defending here.
And this is the intermediate pass. What they're doing is they're dropping zone. See, no one's covering him. He's curling up in front of the zone, coming across. There's reaction to the play. That's the intermediate play, 17, 18-yard patterns.
It is a first down for San Francisco, 2:10 on the clock. Kemp completes it to Rathman. The rookie takes it shy of midfield by a couple of yards as we come to the 2-minute warning. Willie Broughton making the tackle for the Indianapolis Colts with help from Johnny Cooks. So the 2-minute warning with the Colts leading 14-7. A lot of eyebrows raised around the country on the 10-minute tickers as this score goes out. The fans here are stunned, and the Colts have played well.
They have played well. Their defense has not played poorly all season. They held the Jets last week to 255 yards. Their offense has got to get some continuity, but Jack Trudeau is just rising up now. He was quite antsy early, but now he seems to have settled down. His speeder settled down, and they haven't had much chance to ring the bell here in San Francisco. That's one of the trolley bells that they ring when they score, and it's been pretty silent.
And the cable car bell has been silent this afternoon. Only one touchdown scored for the defense for the 49ers. Flag down, one of the Colts offside. This is a free play. Kemp scrambles, and Rowe is dipped at midfield.
Wow, did he get up in a hurry.
Eugene Daniel pounded him down with a vicious hit right at midfield, but the flag caught the Colts offside, I believe.
Yeah, it's going to be John Hand. He was outside. The outside man, he jumped off at the count early.
Ticker will finally have a score in that Jets-Buffalo game. New York breaks on top.
Boy, Eugene Daniel really did hit him. I'll tell you, you want to see a snap. Maybe we can see the tail end. Watch Jeff Kemp's head. Now watch when you'll see Eugene Daniel come up here. He's number 38. Now watch the shot Kemp takes. Watch his head. Bam.
Is that legal? Now he was sliding down. Aren't they supposed to protect the quarterback? Is that a legal hit?
Well, that's a good call. That's a judgment call as we hear the offside penalty. That's a judgment call by the referee. Now if he slides with his feet first, you can't touch him. If he dives head first, you can hit him. But evidently they thought he was on the way down and didn't call it. Now see right there when he's coming into your picture, it's a late slide. I don't think that was a poor call.
2nd and 2 for the 49ers. Here's the drop play. Running room for Roger Craig, who's in the game for the first time, and he takes it to the 30. An 18-yard gain on the first play from scrimmage for Roger Craig.
And this was unbelievable. You ought to see Fred Quillen on this play. He's the center. He snaps that ball back. That was really an interesting play. You'll see how quickly the ball gets up to Roger Craig. It was really quite an interesting play to bust that draw.
So Roger Craig, playing with a hip injury, gives the 49ers good field position. Timeout, San Francisco. They trail. Eugene Daniel had a hand on it, but couldn't quite get it, as the pass intended at the sideline by Jerry Rice. 7 defensive backs in the game for the Colts, who are trying to keep the 49ers out of the end zone with 1:34 remaining in the half.
Now you'll see the tail end of this play. Watch Eugene Daniel come in here, number 38. He's going to come in and get a hand on the ball right there. If he comes down with that, he's all the way down the sideline untouched. You can see the emotion. He knew he had it.
There's a look at Eugene Daniel, third-year veteran out of LSU. He's led this team in interceptions the last 2 years and was all AFC in 1985. 2nd and 10 for the 49ers. The ball at the 30 of Indianapolis. Rice in motion. Kemp with plenty of time. The ball batted away and falls incomplete. John Hammond, the big rookie from Alabama, 6'6", 280, got a paw in Kemp's face to knock it away.
And the exciting thing for John Hammond is his size. He is 6'6", as you said, 280 pounds. Now it's like throwing through a forest when he puts those arms up. You'll see him right there, number 78. Watch the arms go up. Boom, just bats that ball away. That was a dangerous ball. That could have come down in the Colts' hands.
First-round draft choice Hand. He was the 4th player taken in the 1986 draft. Colts have had good luck with their first-round picks. Rob Dowhauer's team has seen Hand come on to play well as a rookie, and last year Dwayne Bickett was their first-round draft choice. A minute 29 on the clock. 3rd and 10 for the 49ers. Across the middle, complete to Clark. Shakes the tackle, gets it to the 20-yard line, close to the first down. Mike Lush, the free safety, made the stop for the Colts. Here's the hurry-up offense.
Yeah, they're going into a hurry-up offense where they have audible calls. He's calling it out right now. Goes on a quick snap.
It is first down. Quick out pass to Clark. Made the reception beautifully and then fell out of bounds. Daniel went for the interception. Clark somehow kept his feet in bounds. 7-yard gain.
That takes tremendous concentration to do that. You have got to be able to totally concentrate on the ball in and drag your feet in.
49ers, of course, have been deadly inside the 20.
Now watch his feet as he comes down. Now he's got great concentration on the ball. There's the ball. Now watch his legs. Just drag out of bounds. Both feet down. Referee right on the spot.
Daniel actually looked like he had a hand on the play and kind of threw the trajectory off a little bit. Clark still able to make the reception. He's caught 5 passes for 47 yards. 2nd and 3. Straight ahead for the first down, Roger Craig. Harvey Armstrong made the tackle. And the 49ers take a timeout. Stop the clock with 55 seconds left. A chance to bring you up to date on scores around the league. Game for San Francisco. Kemp 12 of 19 on the day, 132 yards. 55 ticks to the clock remaining in the first half, and the 49ers trailing 14-7. Pressure on Kemp. He let it go. Incomplete. The blitz coming as Johnny Cooks got right in Kemp's face, took him to the turf. The incomplete pass stops the clock with 51 seconds.
But a lot of poise by Jeff Kemp that time to hold in there to the last possible second. He's got Johnny Cooks running right down his throat. Now look at this picture. Right down his throat. He holds it to the last section. There's the 2 hits. You can see Cooks behind.
And Harvey Armstrong got him right in the chest.
That's the best way to disrupt it. But I would have gone to Jerry Rice on that play. He was open on that pattern, and he may, in fact, come back to him.
11th play of the drive coming up. It's second down from the 9-yard line. Cribbs. Team had the lead, and then they see the 49ers drive down the field. Cribbs gets the touchdown run with a nifty piece of running from 9 yards out. Cribbs 8 carries for 43 yards, including the touchdown on that last carry.
Well, it was a solid call to call that play on that down. See, there's 55 seconds on the clock. You don't have to score right away, and that's what they felt. And that's why they went to the running play, and Joe Cribbs made a nice cut, picked up a couple blockers, and scored.
There are the figures on Cribbs, having one of his best games as a 49er. Wersching. That one was close, but it's good to tie the game at 14. There's Joe Cribbs, who was unhappy with Buffalo last year after coming back from the USFL. He's found a home in the Bay Area.
He's got to be happy on this. His line just wiped out the defensive line, and there's a good block by Randy Cross, 51, and Cribbs just gets tackled into the end zone. They really actually pushed him into the end zone, but it was a nice play. Look at that, up over top. That doesn't seem like a person who's disgruntled. You can see how they just pull him into the end zone.
And the touchdown for the 49ers. John Ayers, the guard, giving us the signal, helping out Jerry Seaman and his refereeing crew. 14-14 tie with 45 seconds left in the first half. So the Colts hit on the long strike, an 84-yard touchdown pass, and the 49ers, behind the direction of Jeff Kemp, come right back down the field to tie it at 14.
I think the big play that you called, Tom, was the fact that they went to Roger Craig when they needed him, and they really did need him. He picked up that big draw play for about 25 yards, which really started him on this drive.
Roger Craig on the sideline. He's happy. Well, he knows he played a big part in that drive, and suddenly the 49ers are into the game. They seem more animated now and ready to play. Here's the scoring drive. 11 plays, covered 68 yards, just over 2 minutes on the clock, with Cribbs carrying it in from 9 yards out.
That's a sign of a veteran team, not to lose their poise, to drive down that field and make that score.
Wersching with a little squib kick taken by Bentley. He's horse-collared at about the 30-yard line, the 29-yard line. And there's Trudeau, who will have a chance once again before halftime. Ron Ferrari made the tackle on special teams for the 49ers.
Now what's going through his mind is, do we have a chance to get it in field goal position? We've got a field goal kicker that doesn't have the greatest of the length of statistics, but if they can get it about 35, 40 yards, they may in fact get a chance for a field goal.
Well, you said earlier they had nothing to lose. Will we put it up here again?
Well, it worked one time, why not do it again? But I would look for them to probably go to an intermediate pass, probably in the 20-25 range, and then if they pick that up right away, then to go for the long one.
Trudeau will pass. It's a safe sort of pass, and the 49ers are ready for it. Bentley takes the reception and loses ground on the play. And the clock continues to roll now inside 30 seconds remaining in the first half. Charles Haley and Michael Carter combining on the stop. Trudeau on second down. Completes this one to the 30. Bentley again on the reception, couldn't shake the tackler, and is taken down as they'll let the clock tick down to 0. Carlton Williamson gets credit for that tackle as Dowhauer and company head for the locker room. Walsh and the 49ers follow here as the first half comes to an end, and the 49ers and the Colts surprisingly are tied at 14-14. What about this first half of play? The Colts obviously shaken on their first possession as Trudeau had the pass picked off by McIver for an easy touchdown, but kept his poise, came right back, and the Colts went ahead 14-7. Then the 49ers finally, maybe the wake-up call got to them, and they're back in the game.
Well, it did. They've got a chance to win against a playoff team.
And the Colts will have the ball to begin the second half as Wersching is set to kick it off for the 49ers. Albert Bentley is deep for the Colts, and he takes it about 3 yards deep. Bentley scrambles forward to the 25-yard line. Michael Walter downfield making the stop for the 49ers. And let's check out now the halftime statistics.
Surprisingly, they're very close. You can see the turnovers, 1-1, but of course the big one hurt the Colts, I should say, where the 49ers scored a touchdown on that play.
Looks like Hammond is shaken up on the play for the 49ers. There he is, being tended to right on that skin portion of the infield. Again, we repeat that Candlestick Park, the home of the Giants, has not yet been converted to all football. They'll do that this week.
And that is really hard to play on. When you're a player, you get down there and you line up, and one foot can possibly be on grass, the other one can be on the actual dirt, and there's a lot of traction problems on that field.
Let's review again the scoring. The first quarter, it was McKyer picking off the pass from Trudeau and taking it in untouched for the touchdown. But then Indianapolis came back with 2 scores in a row on the long 65-yard drive. Gill, who bruised his shoulder on the play and hasn't returned, carried it in for the touchdown. Then the bomb, 84 yards, rookie to rookie, Trudeau to Brooks, and finally Cribbs for San Francisco from 9 yards out. And it's a 14-14 tie. There's Hammond.
And when you come out in the second half, a lot of times you make adjustments, and you'll find out really what your team is all about. I know Rod Dowhauer on the far sideline, he is going to look at his offense. They've made corrections in there. They said, this is work, this is not working. We're going to try to do this, exploit this particular person. But those 49ers, they are a solid team. Their 11-man defensive unit is one of the most solid defensive units in the National Football League. They don't have a lot of weaknesses.
San Francisco's defensive unit, one of the top ones in the National Football League, ranking 4th coming into today's game. From the 25, here's a first down for the Colts. Play action pass, Trudeau rolls right. That's out of bounds. It was picked off by Ronnie Lott, but he was out of bounds. Tim Sherman down the sideline, as Trudeau ruled out was the intended receiver.
And that's not one of Jack Trudeau's strong points, rolling out and throwing. He has a sore knee. He has a large brace on his knee that he plays with and practices with. He's not known as a great rollout quarterback.
Trudeau, the second-round draft choice, who was thrust into the starting lineup with the injury to Gary Hogaboo in the game against Miami on the 14th of September. 2nd and 10 for the Colts. They keep it on the ground, and George Wansley falls forward for a couple of yards on the play.
What a great recovery by Mike Carter. Michael Carter, number 95 in your screen. He's playing over top of the nose. We pinpointed that action a lot in the beginning, in the first half. And that play would have broken for about another 12 to 15 yards if Carter doesn't come all the way down the line. Look at him, 95. When he cuts back, Wansley's tackled by Carter. That's just an excellent play by a nose tackle.
Here's a 3rd and 9 now for the Indianapolis Colts from their own 26-yard line. Is in the game in the secondary for the 49ers. There's preliminary movement for the Colts as Kevin Call began backing into his pass blocking formation, and it'll be 5 yards against the Colts.
Start prior to the snap, number 71 offense, still second down.
And that really changes the complexion of this play from a 3rd down and 9 to a 3rd down and about 14. Your pass patterns have got to be a lot longer. You've got to it takes more time to get 14 yards, 15 yards downfield. So they should put a lot of pressure on Jack Trudeau on this play.
In 3rd down conversions, the Colts only 1 of 5, and the 49ers not much better. Owen Gill returns to the lineup for the Colts for the first time as Trudeau sets up in the shotgun on 3rd and 14. Way downfield, it'll be picked off. Tom Holmoe makes the interception at the 49er 35-yard line. Trudeau again sent to the turf by the rush of the 49ers, but he let that one fly way downfield. Holmoe in perfect position to pick it off.
And that's not that bad a play. I know it doesn't look good for Indianapolis to throw an interception, but that was about a 45-yard pass, and you'll see it here. He's just throwing the ball up. He's just trying to get depth. It's double covered, so he's not really going to get a good reception here, but this is just like a punt. It's a 45-yard pass as he catches it. Receiver comes back, makes the tackle. There's no return. That's not that bad a play.
Trudeau's got an arm, doesn't he?
He certainly does. Had a rocket on that one.
There's Holmoe, who made the interception. Last week against the Dolphins, he ran one for a touchdown over 60 yards on a lateral from Lott, who picked one off. 2 Colts turnovers, 1 for the 49ers. Kemp scrambles and gets it off to Rathman, who carries forward for 5 or 6 yards. Johnny Cooks makes the stop. Cooks having an excellent game.
Yes, he is. He's always in pursuit. Number 98 has really played hard football for this Colts team. It's tough each week to get yourself up emotionally when you're 0-4. I can tell you the season gets awfully long. It gets awfully cold. And it's just tough. The really good football players get themselves up week after week. And talking with Barry Krause before the game, he said, I've been doing it for 8 years. We haven't had winning seasons. And he said, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it until they drag me off the field.
Krause, the injured Colt linebacker, watching the game on crutches. Kemp completes it to Rathman for the first down. Into Indianapolis territory at the 49-yard line. Hundley and Vickett stopping Rathman, but not before he picked up the first down.
And what the coaching staff of the Colts has got to be deciding now is how are they going to get pressure on Jeff Kemp. You cannot allow him to stand back in the pocket. They're trying to rush 3 defensive linemen. No lineman is breaking through, so they've got to do something to get some pressure on this Jeff Kemp. They just cannot allow him to stand back there and pick him apart.
And they're advancing the ball with a little short to medium range passes. First down from the 49 of the Colts. On the ground to Rathman. Blockers in front. To the 45. He got about 4 yards. Fumbled the ball. Penalties down.
I saw a fist swing in that little melee. What happens on this play? It's really interesting. The wide receiver goes downfield, and he's blocking on one of the defensive backs. And now they don't like themselves to start. Now, Dowhauer there, he's just saying, what? You mean you call that a fist? But they don't like each other to start. And one of them just kind of tried to get a block on the other one. Then the other one swung back at him. And Jerry Seaman's going to cipher it all out here and tell us what happened.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, offsetting, dead ball fouls, second down. Second down.
So let's watch the end of the play and see if you can pick out what happened.
Now watch the tail end here. Now, you see it's right on the right of your screen there. See, there's Dwight Clark. He swings, and they're pushing back and forth. That's Eugene Daniel, 38. That's the little wide receiver, and the defensive back squabbles. They couldn't hurt each other. They really swung hard.
It all goes into the books as a short gain on the play and sets up a second down and 5-yard situation for the 49ers. Play action. Kemp deep. He's got a man right. Touchdown. Touchdown pass as the 49ers get on the scoreboard in the second half. Jerry Rice from Jeff Kemp.
And they say speed kills, and speed did kill that time. It was a combination of speed of Jerry Rice there, number 80, and the time that Jeff Kemp had to sit back there, not getting a lot of pressure, and sat back there, picked up Rice on a crossing pattern. The result was a touchdown.
Ray Wersching adds the extra point, and the 49ers seesaw back in front. 11 minutes, 34 seconds to play in the third quarter from Candlestick Park. The 49ers lead. San Francisco, 11:34 to play in the third quarter. Jeff Kemp has just hit Jerry Rice with a 45-yard touchdown strike to give the 49ers a 21-14 lead. Ray Wersching will kick off for the 49ers with Albert Bentley deep for the Colts. Taken by Bentley at the 3. To the 21 and knocked out of bounds. Well, the 49ers have taken the lead, and Jeff Kemp hitting Jerry Rice. Here it is again.
2 important ingredients here. Look, nobody pressuring, and look at the time that Rice has got to get downfield. When he catches this ball, he's right on the goal line. He is 45 yards downfield. Now watch this. No pressure again. You can see Kemp just standing back there, lackadaisical almost. Yeah, that's a touchdown. I'll put my hand up here.
He's got a great arm, and he was 3 for 3 for 60 yards on that scoring drive. Here's the ticker as we review the final scores from Week 5 of the National Football League season. We'll check them again after this first down play for the Colts. Pitch it to McMillan. Forced out of bounds after a short gain. Here are the other scores.
Well, Cleveland finally broke that string, and I think they had gone into Pittsburgh 14 or 15 times and hadn't won. 16 times, I understand. How about Buffalo?
Buffalo and Tampa Bay coming from behind to tie up their respective games. A lot of surprising scores around the NFL, including this one, which sees the 49ers leading by 7 coming into the game, 17-18-point favorites. Trudeau. Complete for the first down. Matt Bouza takes the first down reception. It covered 14 yards, and the Colts pick up a first down. This has to be an important drive for them to sort of regain that psychological momentum.
Absolutely. Jack Trudeau has got a lot more poise in this drive and this second half than what he had early in the game. You can see it's a good pass to Bouza. But the important thing is that they come out here and they do something offensively. They've made the adjustments in at halftime. They've made the corrections on their blocking assignments, what they missed. The coaching staff has reported to all the different positions, and now they have to prove that they can play football against this 49er team.
First down from the 35. Beach in motion. Give it to the tailback, Bentley. The Colts have Mark Kirshner in at right guard now, 6'3", 265 pounds. He's a 3-year veteran from Baylor, replacing Ron Salt, who suffered a slight injury a few plays ago. Hardy, Ellison, Fawnhorst all getting a piece of that tackle after a gain of 3. It's 2nd and 7 for the Colts from the 38. Trudeau. Bentley makes the reception and rolls forward for another Colt first down. Well, Trudeau has shown us the rifle arm. That time he showed us a little touch for 20 yards as he hits the deck again.
Great touch, but look at the back of his jersey. You look in the pants. He's got dirt all over him. He hasn't seen many of his completions, but as you say, it's a touch pass. He throws it over top. Nice catch by Bentley to look the ball in. Now, you watch the tail end of this. You'll see he hasn't seen one of his completions. He's on his way falling down. There he goes.
He got a little glimpse of it.
Yeah.
That's all they can ask for these days, and I'm impressed. Albert Bentley has caught 3 balls now for 19 yards. Bentley. Nice run by Bentley. He gets about 8 yards to the 49er 35-yard line. Mark Kirshner, who came in at that guard spot, was out in front leading the interference. Fawnhorst and Williamson finally making the tackle.
Now, this is a delay play. What they're obviously trying to do is to show that the play is going away. Now, watch Bentley, number 20, turns all the way around. There's the bootleg. He hands the ball back. But Bentley picked up, as you said, picked up a big block by Kirshner, 63, to pick up that yardage. But I am really impressed with how Jack Trudeau has come in here and really calmed himself down. We talked about the education of a quarterback. He is really taking an education, and he's learning a lot in this game.
He says it seems to be a little easier for him each week, and he's shown us something today. A lot of poise, a lot of ability. He'll go to the air here. And he completes another one. Short completion to McMillan, who turns it into a first down for the Colts. Michael Carter downfield to make the stop on Randy McMillan.
Well, one of the things that's impressed me, I told you that about Jack Trudeau and the education of a quarterback, he set goals for himself. He said in that first game he just wanted to handle the calls, get the calls from that man, Rod Dowhauer, and not make mistakes. The second game he was trying to execute the offense and get the ball off quickly so he wouldn't get sacked. In this game he said he wanted to throw more accurately, so he is learning.
Young man out of Illinois who set a bunch of passing records at the University of Illinois. First down for the Colts in San Francisco territory. Plenty of time for the end zone. Incomplete. Bill Brooks, for a moment, was all alone in the end zone. He was by himself, but the pass gave the 49ers a chance to recover.
Well, defensive coaches will tell you that recovery to the ball. Now watch Brooks here. You'll see him, number 80. Now watch how open he's going to be. He gives an inside fake. All of a sudden he's standing in the end zone all by himself. But the recovery by the defensive backs, you can see Ronnie Lott coming in there. There's 58 Tina Turner coming in there. They recover very quickly to the ball. That's the secret of playing defensive secondary. How fast you react once the ball is thrown.
Second down for the Colts. The ball at the 28 of the 49ers. Boyer and Beach, two tight ends. Walmsley in motion, flags down. We'll check the penalty flags, which flew as the ball was snapped. Ronnie Lott, leading tackler for the 49ers, got a piece of it along with Ellison as McMillan carried him on his back for a yard or so. Illegal motion by the Colts as the ticker checks the game's in progress. Denver, surprisingly, not a surprise that they're winning, but the margin, 22-0. Buffalo, many people thought they'd play the Jets tough. They are doing just that. And one time, the Rams way ahead of the Bucks.
Offense, penalty decline. Third down.
It was Wansley called for the illegal motion. The penalty declined by the 49ers. It'll be third down for Rod Dowhauer's Indianapolis Colts.
And this is really an important third down for the spirits of Jack Trudeau. And, of course, the Indianapolis Colts, they've driven the ball about 45, 50 yards now, and they want to keep this drive alive.
Shotgun formation. Booza, Capers, Brooks, three wide receivers. But they keep it on the ground. Owen Gill to the 20-yard line. He'll be short of the first down. Ronnie Lott making the tackle.
That's an interesting call on this. It's one of the few plays that you can run from shotgun formation where the quarterback is off the line. It's an underneath and front handoff, and Owen Gill really makes a nice break back here to pick up the yardage. It's going to be about fourth down and about 2 or 3 yards. Now they have to make a decision whether they want to go for the touchdown or kick the possible field goal.
Well, on 4th and 1, they're going to go for it, Dave. Rod Dowhauer has nothing to lose. If you said several times in the game, they're going to go for it 4th and 1 from the 21-yard line of the 49ers. Trudeau. Incomplete. Pass intended for Tim Sherwin. Trudeau having to scramble and couldn't find his man.
And of all the people to put pressure on him, it's number 95, Michael Carter, in the center. This is amazing because he gets out of the pile. See him coming all the way from the nose, Peckle? And there's the inadvertent pass. He's just nowhere to throw. It's just ball's incomplete, and San Francisco dodges a bullet.
The Indianapolis sideline after failing on that 4th down try. He told me yesterday as the Colts practiced that he was not fleet of foot. It looked like he might have been able to run there, but perhaps that was in the back of his mind.
Well, I know that he wears that brace on his leg, and he does not have the great scramble ability of a lot of quarterbacks, but really in that situation, that's where you've got the sure first down if he takes it and he dives across that line. And I think he had enough room to do that. He just made the decision he was going to pass all the way and just never could bring the ball down and tuck it away and run with it.
So the 49ers take over from their own 21-yard line. Cribbs tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. Well, Haynes getting penetration. Comes up to make the stop and stop Cribbs for a loss. Nice defensive play.
Watch him knife through and just slice the legs out of Joe Cribbs. Good play by John Haynes, number 90.
6'7", 270 pounds, a 2-year veteran from Texas. And a backup defensive end.
2nd and 14 from the 17.
Colts have outgained the 49ers today. Perhaps they found their offense, though they trailed 21-14. And what a tough schedule they've had. The first 5 games are all against legitimate Super Bowl contenders. They're hanging in there. Kemp sacked. Willie Broughton made the sack. The 4th sack of the day for the Colts, who had only 3 coming into the game.
Now there's the decision that the coaches have made. They feel that they have got to get pressure on Kemp. You can see Johnny Cook's 98 come from the outside. There's Donnell Thompson, 99. Kemp feels the pressure, just kind of dives underneath the pile. And watches, everybody watches, bam, everybody hits him, steps on it, kicks him.
Hoping to get a little piece of the statistical action there. Give me credit for a sack.
That's right. I was in on that one, Coach.
3rd and 19 from the shotgun. Kemp completes it to Cribbs. Colts give him a little room, knock him out of bounds at the 20-yard line, and a punting situation for San Francisco. Eugene Daniel had that one covered. A good defensive series for the Colts as the 49ers, after looking impressive on their first possession of the 3rd quarter, don't get much done that time.
Now, that was a real emotional high for the defensive unit. They came out and stopped them on 3 straight plays. They're going to get the ball back. They should get the ball back outside of their own 40-yard line, depending upon where Runninger punts it to. But they should get good field position, so they may, in fact, be able to come right back.
Runninger's punt almost blocked. Martin fields it at the 45, retreats, and is finally knocked out of bounds at the 45. 37-yard kick, 2 yards on the return. And George Hill's Colt defense has been tough today against that very talented San Francisco offense. 49ers with a 7-point lead. With 4 minutes and 48 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Bill Walsh's team goes to the defensive side as the Colts have a first down at their own 46. McMillan dives forward for about a 3-yard gain. Chris Hinton out on the corner trying to lead the interference. Tim McKyer, the cornerback, and one of the inside backers, Ricky Ellison, combining to stop McMillan after a short gain.
Boy, Chris Hinton, 75, really did get out there in front of McMillan. He hit Carlton Williamson and just lifted him up and dumped him. Williamson tried to come up and force the play. He has the force on the play, and Hinton, 75. Of course, he's quite a physical specimen. He got out there, he's 6'4", 290 pounds. He got out there and let it look like that kind of fly getting stuck on the front of a car.
2-time Pro Bowler is Chris Hinton, 4-year veteran from Northwestern. Second down, 9. McMillan again. It's like a little trap play off the right side to midfield.
That's an interesting play because it's actually a delay trap. What they do is the back doesn't take the ball right away. He just kind of takes a hesitant step to allow the off guard to come in and trap or kick out the defensive lineman and hopefully make the hole underneath. And it's worked successfully for him. 3 or 4 times they've picked up about 4 or 5 yards. It's been one of their more successful running plays.
3rd and 6 from midfield for the Indianapolis Colts, who trail the 49ers 21-14. 3.5 minutes remaining third quarter. Trudeau in and out of hands and intercepted by Ronnie Lott of San Francisco. Penalty flag on the play. The ball advanced to the 40 of the Colts on the interception by Lott. Will check the flag.
Holding, number 75, offense, penalty decline, first down.
So Chris Hinton was guilty of a hold, and the interception by Lott will stand.
Watch Ronnie Lott. It really pays sometimes to be in the right place at the right time. You'll see the ball's going to bounce off. It bounces off number 20, Albert Bentley, right into the hands of Ronnie Lott. He just happened to be standing in the right place at the right time.
And his 5th interception of the season, and for his career, his 28th. He returned at 18 yards, and the 49ers in great field position with a first down at the Colt 40. Jack Trudeau on the headset. Been a rocky afternoon for him.
Well, he looks awfully discouraged right now, but what he has to realize is that there's still a lot of time in this game.
Trudeau has been up and down. His team is behind. 32 who made the interception on the left, on the right, Jack Trudeau. He'll be charged with the interception, but really, Bentley should have made the catch.
Oh, he certainly should have. That ball was right in his hands.
In fact, we'll take a look at it in just a moment and see if we think Bentley should have made the reception. But first, a first down play from the 49ers. Cribbs. All the way down to the 21-yard line. Leonard Coleman runs him out of bounds. A 19-yard gain by Joe Cribbs. Here's what set it up. A good field position for the 49ers. The interception by Lott.
Well, you fans be the judge whether he should have had this or not. It's right to me, right in his hands. You can see Ronnie Lott just happens to be the man in the right spot at the right time. Comes down. And this is the pass. This is the run by Joe Cribbs. That just picked up about 20 yards to down inside, deep inside the territory of Indianapolis on about the 22-yard line.
This looks like the Cribbs of old. He could be a big asset for this San Francisco offense. First down at the 21. Cribbs again. Takes it down to the 16-yard line where Dwayne Bickett and Lamont Hundley put the stop on him. Dallas finally on the board at Mile High Stadium. And Buffalo leading the Jets by 3. 17-17 Tampa Bay in the red. It'll be 2nd and 4 coming up for the 49ers.
Look at those stats on Joe Cribbs. He's back to the form that you talked about.
Walsh said he hoped he could have 100 yards out of Cribbs today. He's well on his way. Kemp for the end zone. Rice.
A happy coach on this side. That's Bill Walsh, and a happy quarterback, Jeff Kemp, because he's just thrown for a touchdown to Jerry Rice. Last year, Jerry Rice had a terrible time concentrating, catching the ball, made all kinds of mistakes. But this year, he is a different wide receiver. He has great concentration, tremendous speed, and of course, the results are, look at his statistics. He is just unbelievable. 20-some catches, 19-yard average coming into the game.
And 5 touchdowns, including 2 today. Worshing from Morosky's hold puts another point onto the San Francisco lead. 2 minutes, 17 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Rice has just given San Francisco a 28-14 lead on the Indianapolis Colts.
You're going to see what a great pass it was. It was an excellent pass by Kemp. He fakes into the line. Now Rice is going to be coming left to right on your screen, and you'll see what a perfect pass. It was just thrown right high enough. Comes down with a big touchdown reception.
There's the celebration by Jerry Rice, the 2-year player out of Mississippi Valley State, who has electrified the NFL with his play in his first 2 years.
He's got such great leaping ability. And look at the hand concentration. He goes up there in a crowd, and he just comes down with the ball. I think that's the thing that he has really come down with this year, more so than last year. Last year, he just dropped a lot of passes that he should have had. And this year, he's got great, just the concentration is there. He doesn't fumble. He doesn't miss those balls. And he certainly has the blazing speed.
He was the NFC Rookie of the Year in 1985, and yesterday Bill Walsh said maybe he's the best wide receiver in the game. Jeff Kemp certainly is having a fine afternoon. 17 completions in 25 attempts. He was 5 for 5 on that last drive in the second half. He is 5 for 5 for 84 yards and 2 touchdowns. So Rice and Kemp, a force to be reckoned with throughout the NFL season, and putting San Francisco 2 touchdowns up on the Colts now.
The important thing is that they really have not missed Joe Montana, even though Joe Montana is just a tremendous athlete, great leadership ability, that Jeff Kemp has come in here and he has really taken control of this offensive unit, and they haven't seen the decline. Very few teams have the ability to play with their second quarterback and be as consistent as San Francisco has.
Bentley takes Worshing's kick. Gets to the outside. Taken out of bounds at the 35, 36-yard line. So Jack Trudeau and company return to the field.
And it's really important right now. They still have a chance. There's still a lot of time left in this football game. They're down 2 touchdowns. Now, the great teams in this situation don't panic. I can remember a couple times when I played with the Raiders that we'd be down by 2 touchdowns and there was no fear. Just we would go downfield, Stabler would leave us downfield, and they would score. You see Dan Fouts does it all the time. Marino does it all the time. Elway does it all the time. And that's what Jack Trudeau has got to learn in this situation. Don't panic.
Saw the 49ers scoring drive after the interception by Lott. Now behind 24-14, the Colts have a first down at their 37. Trudeau has a man, completes it to McMillan. To the 45-yard line, about a yard short of the first down. 9-yard gain on the play for the Colts. Michael Walter making the stop for the 49ers. Wayne Board applying the pressure on Trudeau as he let that one fly.
Yes, it's pass rush time for these 49ers. They know right now that the run's not going to hurt them. You'll see 76 Board coming all the way around from the outside. There's the pass, and of course he doesn't dump them this time. But right now they're forgetting about the run. They know it's a pass situation. This is what they call the elite time. It's sack time for the defensive linemen.
Less than a minute and a half remaining in the third quarter. 2nd and 1. Excuse me, there was a first down. They marked it for a first down, so a Colt first down on this drive. On the delay play, McMillan takes it into 49er territory. Michael Carter in on another tackle. Carter from SMU in his 3rd year and a Pro Bowler in 1985, having a big game.
And I can tell you what it takes to play in this game, and he has it. It takes strength. You've got to be durable in the center. Look at Michael Carter, 95, getting held. Jumps out there, throws his body in there. They say playing nose tackle is kind of like being on a scout troop and somebody throws a hand grenade, you're the guy who jumps on it.
Trudeau on 2nd and 6. Complete to Bill Brooks for a first down. It covers 12 yards. Don Griffin makes the stop. The Colts drive is alive. You know, they've moved up and down the field. That last one was a nice drive, though it came up empty on a 4th down play. But the Colts have to be pleased with the way they've moved the ball.
Yes, anytime you lose your #1 quarterback, and they practiced all preseason with Gary Hogaboom, that was going to be their starter. He was designated as it. And all of a sudden, you've got to go to your second team. Your entire philosophy changes. And Trudeau is adapting himself now. He looks much more poised out there.
Could be the final play of the quarter. Fumble. 49ers have it, I think. Still loose. That ball really tumbled around, and the 49ers do come up with it. On the final play of the 3rd quarter, Jack Trudeau fumbled the snap from center. It was kicked around, it was loose, it was all over the ground, and finally the 49ers come up with it.
Well, you don't want to make mistakes to hurt yourself. Now
Michael Walters, the man that corralled it for the 49ers. So at the end of the 3rd quarter, it's the San Francisco 49ers leading the Indianapolis Colts 28-14. We'll be right back to Candlestick Park after these messages from your local station.
Oh, he's not smiling on this one, is he?
Jeff Kent took a shot, but it is a 58-yard scoring strike to Jerry Rice as the 49ers have come back here in the 2nd half with a vengeance after Rod Dowhauer's club woke them up in the 1st half.
Well, he certainly did, and they have come back, as you said, with a vengeance. But they made the adjustments at halftime. They made the adjustments. They've come out. They realized that the speed of Jerry Rice, look at the concentration, just bringing that ball in right on the fingertips. Never broke stride. Kemp has got an arm. He threw that ball about 45 yards in the air. He never saw the completion because he got dumped on his rear.
Wershing puts on the point after attempt. Kenny Daniel beaten on the play by one of the best in the business, Jerry Rice, who has caught 6 passes for 172 yards and 3 touchdowns. That last one at the expense of Daniel. Jerry Rice, the star of the game thus far, as San Francisco increases its lead to 35-14. We'll be back in a moment.
Today's game is brought to you.
The contrast of emotions on the respective sidelines. Jerry Rice's last 3 catches have been for touchdowns, 45, 16, and 58 yards. George Wansley, one of the up men, takes Wershing's kickoff and takes it to about the 28-yard line before he's swamped under by special teams members of the 49ers. Jack Trudeau, has it become a little tougher for Trudeau to come back on the field as George Hill paces the sideline after seeing his defense give up another score?
Well, George Hill, first of all, he saw his defense play so well in the 1st half. He's got to just be crushed by their play in the 2nd half. But for Trudeau, right now, it's a learning experience. They realize that they're out of this game. Unless they have a miracle, they're not going to come back and win this game. But it has to be a learning experience. He's got a lot of games left, and right now he is the quarterback of the Colts. So you've got to try to practice and do things right.
49ers had a stunt on. They put pressure on Trudeau, who went down, but he completes it to McMillan, tripped up at about the 34-yard line. I'm telling you, if you could count the number of times Trudeau has been on the turf, you would be already, I'm sure, in double figures, and he really takes a beating. He is indeed a tough kid, as everyone associated with the Colts points out.
Well, I just can't tell you how hard it is for a quarterback to come in and try to play this game on their 1st year. Dan Marino did it. John Elway, it took almost 4 years for John Elway, or 3 or 4 years for him to come into his own and be the quarterback with the abilities that he has. But Jack Trudeau was really thrown into fire, and he was actually thrown into the lake with a rock around his leg and told, learn how to swim. And let me tell you, there's such confusion out there. You've got defenses coming at you. You've got line stunts. It's just nothing like college. It's so much quicker than college football. Everybody on the defense is the #1 player from their college team.
Michael Carter was a little shaken up on the last play, a little woozy, rubber-legged as he came off the field. As Trudeau again goes to the air. Oh, that one should have been caught. Albert Bentley had it right in his hands. That's the 2nd consecutive pass that Bentley should have caught and did not.
Yes, he should have had that one again. All it is, it's the old story, the old cliche of looking and trying to run before you look the ball in. Receiving coaches will tell you, look the ball all the way into your hands, tuck it away, then you decide to run with it, because it doesn't mean for naught if you don't catch the ball. You can do all the running and have all the fancy moves in the world.
3rd and 5 for the Indianapolis Colts on 3rd down conversions, only 1 of 8 this afternoon. Trudeau again under pressure. This one complete for the first down to Matt Booza. And once again, a familiar sight as Trudeau picks himself up.
The back of his jersey looks like the front of everybody else's. He has just been knocked down all day long. Watch this, the tail end. He's under a lot of pressure here. He has the foresight to get the ball off, but look at there. There he goes down to the ground again. He's got more grass stains, and oh boy, his rear end is just dirty.
Charles Haley applied the pressure on Trudeau that time, and then Williamson making the tackle along with Tina Turner. Booza's caught 4 for 49 yards and a homecoming for the wide receiver of the Colts. Bentley to the Colt 45, a gain of about 5 yards on the play. Well, San Francisco, Dave. San Francisco leading here 35-14 with 13 minutes to go in the game.
Well, I was going to say is the thing that has really been the strong point of the Colts has really vanished this year, and that was their great running game last year. Last year they averaged 5 yards a clip. I don't care who was back there throwing. He had time because he always had the running game. This year their running game has been almost non-existent. Randy McMillan had a 2.5 yard per carry average and averaged almost 5 yards last year.
Of course, many times the Colts have been behind on the scoreboard and have had to go into the air, which affects those stats just a little bit. But certainly the point well taken, not as effective on the ground as they were a year ago when they were one of the best in football. There's Bentley again misconnecting. Once again, Jack Trudeau hits the deck. Tina Turner defending on the play for the 49ers.
You can see the tail end of this play. It's not a long pass, but look at the pressure on Jack Trudeau. Throws the ball, bang, down he goes on the ground again. Hello, Mr. Stover.
Third down and 5 yards to go for the Colts. The ball just beyond the Indianapolis 45-yard line. Young quarterback Trudeau from the University of Illinois. Northern California native. Lost it. Intended for Capers, but he had to turn the wrong way, and it goes incomplete. Eric Wright into the game for the 49ers was defending on the play.
And the Colts' problems just seem to mount. They have been totally ineffective in the fourth quarter, in third and fourth quarter. In the second half, they've been outscored 49-7. They've scored 1 touchdown in 5 games in the second half, and that's not a team that's making adjustments and coming out and doing the things right. Conversely, look at the 49ers. They have come out and scored 21 points after making those halftime adjustments on their offensive scheme.
You saw Griffin Deep to accept Stark's punt, averaging just over 38 yards today. He came in at 46-7 to lead the NFL. High kick taken by Griffin to the 24-yard line. 43-yard kick returned 13 yards. We told you a couple of moments ago that the 49ers' Michael Carter left the game. He has a concussion, we're told, and may not return. 12-13 to play. The 49ers in front. Ronnie Lott in the San Francisco defense holding the Colts in that last possession. Candlestick Park in the fourth quarter, 12-13 to play. Tom Hammond with Dave Rowe, our producer Larry Cirillo, our director John Gonzalez. Dennis Mnuchin on stats today as Joe Cribbs gets the call. San Francisco has scored 4 of the last 5 possessions, and they had built a 35-14 lead. Jeff Kemp has not had a miscue in the second half. A young man who had a rifle arm. He told me yesterday that it's the recognition and the confidence that has come to him. He's always had the physical ability, the strong arm, but he says now much more confidence, much more ability to recognize defenses and to know what to do when he does make those recognitions.
Well, if you're going to criticize him, you say, well, he's only 6 foot tall, and you got to be tall to play quarterback. But he's got that cockiness about him. He just knows he's good, and he's out to prove it.
Free agent out of Dartmouth. His dad, of course, an NFL quarterback, and now in Congress. This time Kemp makes the handoff as they keep it on the ground, let the clock run, and Cribbs edging ever closer to that 100-yard goal set for him by Bill Walsh. Takes it up to about the 30-yard line. He's up to 72 yards now, and again we say that a little bit of an injury to the right calf. Coach Walsh said he needed a 100-yard gain.
We've got someone that's down there. It looks as if it might be Bubba Parrish, 77. He's pointing to his right leg also.
Harris, 4-year veteran from Michigan, 6'6", 299 pounds, former second-round choice. The starting left offensive tackle for the 49ers.
Most times when you can kind of wiggle around like that and you can sit up, it's not hurt as bad. You probably just kind of wrenched it or twisted it. He did point to his right leg.
Well, the 49ers were not sharp early, but just before halftime, they appeared to finally wake up, perhaps taking the Indianapolis Colts a little lightly, but they've been very impressive since that time. They've scored four of the last 5 times they've had their hand on the ball. Meanwhile, on the Indianapolis Colts side, they have shown us some promise. Their offense has gotten going, and certainly as they face New Orleans next week, a chance perhaps to pick up their first win of the season. And that's one of the games coming up next week on NBC. You will see Jets at New England, Buffalo at Miami, Kansas City at Cleveland. And it's a doubleheader week, so the second game at 4 o'clock Eastern will have Denver at San Diego and Seattle at the Raiders. Interesting matchups next week. Hope you'll join us for NFL action here on NBC.
And they have brought out a stretcher now. They're going to load him on to a stretcher rather than take a chance of probably hurting that leg. They're going to take him off on a little stretcher card.
Dave, if you're in the game and you see one of your teammates go down with an injury that necessitates being carried off the field, what does that do to your emotions to see a fellow player like that go down?
Well, every player hates to see someone get hurt. I remember I was on the field when Darryl Stingley got hurt, and he was on the other team against the Raiders. And I think it takes a lot of emotion out of players on both sides, because nobody likes to see anyone sustain an injury. You're out there and you play the game just as hard as you can, but you play within the rules. And as I said, this is his bread and butter. It's his livelihood. It's what he's worked for all his life. You can imagine people out there that are watching the game. You can imagine what it's like to set a goal and to work for that goal for 15, 18, 20 years and finally get the chance to play in this National Football League. You just don't want to see other people get hurt.
Bubba Paris grimacing in pain, taken to the sideline and replaced by Steve Wallace. He wears 74, 6'5", 276 pounds, a rookie from Auburn. There's Bubba Paris. And do you ever think that could be me? I know you have empathy for the injured player, but does it make you think more about the likelihood of injury to yourself?
Well, players very rarely think about injuries when they're out there. Even the ones that have sustained injuries, they just rarely think about the injury happening to them. You play out there thinking it's always going to happen to someone else.
Kemp on the scramble, sends it intended for Russ Francis and knocked down by Lamont Hundley, the linebacker for the Colts.
Just a thought along that injury standpoint. I can remember players that sustained terrible knee injuries before they had the orthoscopic surgery where they now go in with a little tiny, just a small little cut and you come back and run. And I used to see players get 3 and 4 knee injuries during their career and 3 or 4 knee surgeries and still come back. There's a great drive in the NFL players to play this game. They just absolutely love it.
Roniger with a punt. He's slightly below his average today, and Robbie Martin makes the reception at the 30. Just got 2 or 3 yards, 6 as a matter of fact. They'll give him on the return after the 40-yard punt from Roniger. So we'll take a timeout. Just over 11 minutes remaining. 49ers lead. In front, Mike Morosky warms up, and perhaps he'll come in for Jeff Kemp. The backup quarterbacks have been one of the themes of our game today, and maybe we're about to see the backups backup.
The backups backup. That's what, in fact, it might be. It looks like Morosky's going to come in.
Here's our ticker. Buffalo bidding for the upset of the Jets. First down, Indianapolis from the 35. Trudeau threw that one behind the intended receiver, McMillan, and it'll go incomplete. So, Dave, we've talked about the quarterbacks, the rookie Trudeau. Kemp, give us a report card now as we're well into the 4th quarter.
Well, I think it's a difference of situations. Of course, Kemp has had a fantastic day. He has played well. He's had a great supporting cast, and they've really come out and they've really answered what they were supposed to do. But for Trudeau, it's been a learning experience. He has been under a lot of pressure. He's been dumped probably 15 to 20 times. And we see there Hammond leaving the game on a crutches sprained ankle here, the report is. But for Trudeau, it's been a tough day. But he's gotten a lot of poise. He's shown some flashes of the brilliance that you need to play in this league. And you just have to show more consistency.
There's a time where he stood strong in the pocket, but the pass came up a little short. Taken on one hop by Bouza and incomplete. And Trudeau has taken a beating last week against the Jets, this week against the 49ers. But put my vote down in his column because I think he has a future. He has shown a strong arm, and he has shown poise, and he has shown certainly the toughness to stand up to an NFL rush.
He has done well when he's had time to pass. He's picked up his receivers well. He's made a few bad judgments. He's gotten under pressure 2 or 3 times. But really, I think overall he has He has gotten better than what he has been in the past, so that's the learning experience. They realize that their future maybe lies with him 3 or 4 or 5 years down the road. That's where they're shooting for with his abilities.
Trudeau has a big completion here. It's to Matt Booza, who's taken down in 49er territory, 24 yards and a Colt first down. Eric Wright was the man beaten on that play.
Now there's the example of when he has time, when he can stand back in that pocket and pick up that wide receiver 15, 18, 20 yards downfield. He's got a lot of poise, but what happens is he gets a little bit shaky when he gets under pressure. Now there's Eric Wright, 21, who's just getting his first flavor back into the game. Now look how quickly he reacts back to the ball.
I said he got beat. He didn't really get beat. He was a man that recovered with the hustle to get the piece of the tackle.
That's what all coaches will teach you. Once the ball's thrown, everybody goes to the ball.
On the 41, Colt first down. Wansley. Good cut on the outside. He got 9 yards. Eric Wright making the tackle that time on the run. Mark Kirshner in at a guard spot for the Colts, was the man that got the block on the outside.
Now he has outside containment. He cannot allow that running back to get outside. If they get outside of him, it's all over because all the support is coming from the inside. That's what they call the force man on a defensive scheme. They either have a backer force or a corner force. That means he has to force it inside or make the tackle.
2nd and 1 for the Colts. McMillan is stopped short of the 30-yard line. It'll be close to the first down, however. Dwayne Board made the tackle. The Colts have scored only 7 points in the entire second half this season. Watch Dwayne Board on the isolate.
He is number 76. Now watch the way he plays the game. Gets inside, good position, makes the running back cut back. There's 76 back in that picture.
Bubba Paris of the 49ers has sprained his knee. Saw him taken off a few moments ago as we call in the sticks for the measurement. And it is a Colt first down.
I think of all the things that have changed in this game since I played, and I've only been out 6 or 7 years now. But the linemen are so much stronger and so much faster. When I ran, I'd run a 5.3 40-yard dash, and that was really flying. Today, most of the linemen are under 5 seconds in a 40-yard dash.
Saw Bubba Paris getting crutches after that sprained right knee. McMillan. Maybe a yard. Out of bounds to stop the clock with 8:56 remaining, and San Francisco leading 35-14.
And that little play there was a good example of what you want to do on defense. String the play out. The lateral speed of these linebackers is tremendous. I talked about the strength and size of linemen, but linebackers have got much more mobility than what they had when I played. They can run that line of scrimmage sideways as fast as a running back can run straight ahead.
There's the Colt bench, and not a happy bunch, but they have made progress. Rod Dowhauer says we want to try to get better each week, and their performance today has been better. One of the offensive linemen of the Colts moved, and the 49ers quick to pounce on him to get the
False start, illegal
call.
snap, number 53 offense, still 2nd down.
Ray Donaldson was the man, the center, who was a little anxious to get into his block.
Now watch his right arm. See right there, the little hitch? Now that defensive lineman, he is taught to go on movement. You don't go on sound in the NFL because they'll fool you all the time. He goes on movement.
That's what Dowhauer says, and they've accomplished that today, in my opinion.
Well, they've had a little bit more offensive consistency. Their statistics, yardage-wise, are not bad. They just have not been able to score when they had to.
Trudeau finds his man. Complete for a 5-yard gain. Ricky Ellison, the linebacker, made the tackle. That was Booza on the reception. Booza, who was with San Francisco. He was a free agent with them in 1981 and still lives in Northern California, making his 6th catch of the day for 80 yards.
He came close to going to the Super Bowl, he said. The year he was cut, waved, brought back, and then cut again, and sat home and watched San Francisco go to the Super Bowl.
Well, he's had a good day receiving against his old team here. The losing cause, apparently, with a 35-14 count on the board against the Colts and 7:49 on the clock. Trudeau lets it fly way over the head of everyone. Intended again for Booza. but he might have thrown that one away.
He did slightly throw it away, but the thing that really disrupted him is that central pressure, the pressure coming up the center part of the pocket. He has to sit back there and has to have the ability to step up. And when you get that middleman getting pressure on your pocket, it just seems to fold back into you, and you can't follow through. And that's what happened that time. He wasn't able to follow through and bring the ball down.
And on 4th and 5, the Colts obviously will go for it from the 26 of the 49ers. See the clock? Caught at the 20 and then fumbled. It'll go as an incomplete pass. It would have been close to the first down. Bill Brooks lost it as he went down under the hit from Tim McKyer. It'll go as an incomplete pass, and the 49ers will take over.
I was just handed an update. We understand that Tampa Bay and the Rams are in overtime, tied 20-20.
And, of course, speaking of exciting sports action, the World Series coming up on NBC. It all starts Saturday night, October 18th. The World Series, a tradition here on NBC, and this will be the prime time World Series. All the games to be played in prime time. So we hope you'll join us for the Fall Classic, the World Series, right here on NBC.
Kind of surprising not seeing Mike Morawski in there. I thought for sure that Bill Walsh would go with him for the seemingly insurmountable lead that they have.
And Joe Cribbs is still in the game, still fighting forward for that 100-yard rushing day. And he's stopped by Johnny Cooks and Dwayne Bickett.
Well, you can bet your last dollar that Jeff Kemp is not going to make a mistake in here and take a shot, possibly injure or try to run for a first down. He's got to play cautious because, as we talked about, he is the backup quarterback. And it's a little bit surprising that Bill Walsh, with his conservative philosophy, does not bring in Mike Morawski and give him a little bit of playing experience.
Joe Cribbs carried now 14 times, 73 yards for the former Auburn star. Here's Cribbs again to the other side. Nothing there. And he's taken down for a loss. Well, that'll make it a little tougher to get to 100. He'll lose yardage on that play. Dwayne Bickett right there to greet Cribbs and take him down for the loss on the play. Well, immediately following football coverage, we'll present Our House in its entirety, except for Mountain and Pacific time zone stations, where the program will be seen at its regular time. Stay tuned to NBC for Sunday night entertainment coming up after the game. 3rd and 13. Kemp in the shotgun. Kemp slipped right on the pitcher's mound and has to scramble. Bill Walsh's heart leapt to his throat as he saw Jeff Kemp scramble and take a hit as he goes out of bounds. And it'll be short of the first down. In the meantime, let's review Week 5 in the National Football League.
I think New England is certainly for real, 34-7 over Miami.
Miami continues to have problems.
Buddy Ryan gets his second win of the season.
And the first loss for the Falcons. And the AFC Central still a mad scramble. Runninger's punt taken by Martin. Little nice piece of running by Martin, who threads his way to the 42-yard line. 17 yards on the return after a 48-yard kick, and we have penalty flags on the play. Here are the late games underway. And OT for the Bucks and the Rams. Tampa Bay in another overtime game.
Offside penalty against the Colts.
It's going to be an offside penalty, I believe, against the Colts. Now the decision, of course, is if they want to punt it again. I don't believe it's enough to give them a first down. That's one of the foolish penalties that you can do on a return team, is to line up off sides and get in that zone inside where the ball is. Runninger obviously is calling them back. They're going to punt it again.
He wants to try to pad his average a little bit.
Well, Martin got a good return on the ball and was going to give him some field position, so obviously they're going to punt it again.
There's Runninger. Averaged 40.7 today. Came into the game at 41.8.
Defense lined up in the neutral zone. Still fourth down.
I just want to describe to the fans that the neutral zone is the length of the ball. That's what they call no man's land or a neutral zone. From one tip of the ball, the defense lines up on that tip. The offense lines up on the backside tip of it, and nobody lines up in between. If you do, that's what they call lining up in the neutral zone.
We'll do it all over again. Martin at the 15. Played his blockers well. He lost the ball. It'll still belong to Indianapolis. 26 yards on the return that time by Martin after Runniger booted it 51 yards. Robbie Martin has returned 3 punts for touchdowns over his career, just re-signed for the Colts this week.
Watch the tail end of this play. Watch the defender come in. I can't see who it is. Watch, he just reaches in there and gets the ball out, just kind of pulls it loose. Now, of course, he was standing out of bounds when he touched that ball. That's 85, Mike Wilson, I believe.
Right, Mike Wilson it is, number 85 in red.
But his foot was out of bounds when he touched that ball, so when he pulled it out, so I guess that's what they actually called.
5.5 minutes left. 35-14 San Francisco. Trudeau a little time that time. Passes it, it'll go incomplete. Caught by Bentley and then dropped. It'll be an incomplete pass. Bentley has had trouble holding on to the ball today, and normally a good receiver. Ricky Ellison hit him hard.
You'll see Bentley just is not looking the ball in. He's lost a lot of his concentration. He's swinging out the backfield. And right there as the ball hits him right. He's lucky they didn't call that a foul. I mean, excuse me, a fumble. He's just looking where he wants to run before he's catching the ball. You can bet that the coaching staff will let him catch 100 balls next week in practice to concentrate on looking that ball all the way in.
Trudeau, good protection. And complete for the first down to Tim Sherwin. Tim Sherwin's had a good game receiving today. Carlton Williamson, the strong safety, with the tackle.
And I think Tampa Bay just lost their overtime game because the Rams came back and scored to make it 26-20, and they win.
Two coaches who again have that long association. Rod Dowhauer was the quarterback coach at Stanford under Bill Walsh in 1977 and 78, and then Dowhauer succeeded Walsh as the Stanford head coach in 79. Trudeau has a man down the sideline. Incomplete, intended for Brooks. Knocked away by Eric Wright.
Brooks almost came down with that ball. He looked as if he was going to bring it in. But Eric Wright, of course, he's the defensive back. He's number 21. Watch what he does at the tail end. Now, Brooks gets good position. He's ahead. All he has to do is time. Now, watch what Eric Wright does when he rips his hands down. Watch this. What you do is you pull that one arm down. See how quickly he pulls those arms down? Doesn't allow you to bring it into your body. An excellent play by Eric Wright.
Good coverage by Eric Wright, the 6-year veteran from Missouri, was just activated a couple of days ago. There's that overtime score. The Rams winning over Tampa Bay. Pressure on Trudeau, who is sacked on the blitz by Dwayne Board. Not the blitz, really. He's a defensive end. He just came untouched for his first sack, the first sack of the afternoon.
That's what they call a stunt from the lineman. What happens is the linemen actually switch positions. One will circle out. Now watch on the right of your screen. You're going to see Dwayne Board. There he goes. See the stunt in the middle? They twist positions. The offensive guard doesn't get around 53. Ray Donaldson, the center, doesn't get around and pick up Board. That's a stunt. They call that a twist by the two tackles inside.
And it results in the sack and sets Indianapolis back to the 45-yard line where they face a 3rd and 20.
Boy, is it fun to go in and watch the movies when you get a sack. On Monday morning, you just love watching those movies when the coach runs that play and you get that sack.
Trudeau on the run sends it way short of the intended receiver. In fact, Wayne Capers had broken to the inside. The pass to the outside and about 20 yards short.
Well, we talked about his ineffectiveness on the run. He is not a scrambling quarterback. He is a pocket passer, and he has got to have time in the center. And Rod Dowhauer realizes that. He is putting together a lot of the ingredients. You talked about Dwayne Bickett being their #1 draft choice last year and the success he has played. He's played a good game today. Ray Donaldson's played well. They have a lot of ingredients. They just need time from this administration and ownership to give them a little bit of time to put all the pieces together.
This is McHire deep this time for San Francisco with Stark in punt formation. taken by McIyer. Can't get outside and stopped at the 15. 44-yard kick, 6 yards on the return. This telecast presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the telecast without the express written consent of the San Francisco 49ers and the National Football League is prohibited. Here's Mike Morosky, number 15, entering the lineup for the 49ers. 6'4", 200 pounds, replacing Jeff Kemp. Morosky, another Northern California product, 8 years out of California Davis, formerly played for Atlanta, for Houston, and now into the game to replace Kemp.
And Tom, I just heard that Eric Dickerson ran a 42-yard run for a touchdown, had over 200 yards rushing in that Rams victory. Big day for him, a 42-yard run for a touchdown at overtime.
Rams win at 26-20 in OT over Tampa Bay. Joe Cripps still in there pounding away in the fourth quarter with 3:44 remaining. Cooks and Haynes getting a piece of the tackle.
And it's really important for Joe Cripps to feel comfortable in this offense. That's why they're leaving him in this late in the game. He is a first-rate player. He's not a backup player, but he needs to feel comfortable in the offensive scheme that Bill Walsh has. And when they get later on in the season, he's going to be a very valuable part of this 49er offense.
Just on number 86, John Frank into the game for the Niners. There are the stats on Cribs. That loss in the last series took him back to 70 yards. Cribs again, straight up the middle for a couple. Harvey Armstrong, defensive end. Dwayne Bickett, the outside backer, combining for the stop. As we come inside the 3-minute mark, and the Niners safely in front, 35-14.
Third and 6.
I think the thing that really has determined this game is there were 4 or 5 plays that could have gone either way, and really they bounced towards the 49ers. The Colts were playing good football up until they hit one of those plays. The interception, that first play, boom, it goes back against them. Then the interception on the Bentley pass, which he should have had. So really, the Colts have not played that badly in between those 4 or 5 bad plays.
And again, we see the 49ers as flags go down on Morosky screen pass. Completed to Rathman, who rambles ahead to the 35-yard line before he's stopped by Bickett and Odom. Again, the 49ers, we have seen them take advantage of the turnovers, the illegal motion to call, and we've seen them with that potent passing game, which ranks second in the NFL coming into today's contest.
Well, Bill Walsh has been known for that passing scheme. He came to Stanford, and of course he did a tremendous job there, went down with Dan Fouts, and Dan Fouts gave a lot of encouragement.
Illegal motion, number 44, offense, still third down.
Well, Dan Fouts talked about how well he learned off of Bill Walsh. Cincinnati, Sam Weiss, he has had a string of quarterbacks that have had that great passing statistics.
10-minute ticker again with that final in one of the late games, and the other 2 still in progress. And there's the 2-minute warning. So we'll take a timeout with 2 minutes to play from Candlestick Park, and the 49ers in front, 35-14. And one of the stories of the game.
Well, this is one half of the story. That's Jeff Kemp, number 9, the quarterback, and there is the other half. It's been a Jeff Kemp to Rice day. They just have Jerry Rice, number 80, the wide receiver. They have just had an exceptional day today.
They combined for 3 touchdowns, and so our Budweiser MVPs, plural, are the pitcher and catcher, Jeff Kemp and Jerry Rice of the San Francisco 49ers. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's NFL game. Mike Morosky at the controls now of the 49ers. Interesting a moment ago before we had the 2-minute warning to see Jeff Kemp back in his role of signaling in the plays that he used to do when Joe Montana was the quarterback. This time Morosky 15 on the receiving end. Intended for Rathman, thrown too hard by Morosky, and Rathman couldn't handle it.
Well, that's his first pass of this campaign. Not a very productive one, but it's good to see a young fella get action.
So the stands emptying out a bit at Candlestick Park. What an afternoon in Northern California. Temperatures high 70s, low 80s perhaps. Bright sunshine, not a cloud in the sky. And out at Candlestick Park, the famous wind, not in evidence today. Punt taken by Martin. trying to get away from his blockers and finally stacked up and taken down at about the 42. A 12-yard return. The punt by Runniger covered 55 yards. He's found his stride here late in the game. Jack Trudeau still there for Indianapolis with a minute 42 remaining. 35-14 49ers. It was tied 14-14 all at halftime, and the 49ers are broken it open here in the second frame.
That drive just before half changed the entire complexion of this game because they really came down. They drove 70 yards, and it really started to instill their defense that they can play. Oh, that may be a fumble.
It will be ruled a fumble, and the 49ers football deep in Indianapolis territory. Charles Haley, the man that picked it up. Trudeau thought he had thrown it away for an incomplete pass. They ruled it a fumble. Ford was the man that picked it up after Haley perhaps caused it. 21 yards on the return. There is Haley causing the fumble, and it'll be Dwayne Ford, 76, that'll pick it up and rumble toward the end zone.
The decision on that, the decision you can... There's the unhappy man, Mr. Dowhauer. But the thing, the decision was that his arm was not coming forward, that he was hit as he had gotten the ball back. But I think it was a good call. I think, in fact, it was a fumble.
Turnovers, again, a story of the game today, and San Francisco has been very opportunistic after getting the Colts turnovers, 5 of them on the afternoon. Joe Cribbs, even though only a minute 24 show on the clock, still in there fighting for yardage. Armstrong and Glasgow get credit for the Indianapolis tackle.
Now watch Trudeau's arm on this play. Let's see if his arm in fact comes forward. Now if his arm comes forward, then it's a pass. If he gets the ball up by his ear, now watch. Right there. That's all. That's excellent camera work by our crew, and that is a fumble. And you can get up and run with a fumble, as Dwayne Ford knows.
The arm had definitely not started forward, and the 49ers already ahead 35-14, and Bill Walsh not trying to pile it on his former associate Rod Dowhauer here. They'll keep it on the ground, and Cribbs inside the 5 to the 4-yard line. Keller and Armstrong at the bottom of the stack. 35 seconds, the clock continues to roll, and they may not get another play off.
I don't believe they have to run another play, and I think it'd be courtesy not to.
Rod Dowhauer on the sideline. His team did get better today, though, and they face New Orleans a week from today. San Francisco, upping its record to 4-1, plays Minnesota next week. Here's Jeff Camp. He had a great afternoon, and he has been sterling in his role, replacing Joe Montana. Rod Dowhauer comes to the center of the field to meet his old boss, Bill Walsh, as the 49ers up their record to 4-1, and the Colts fall to 0-5.
And Tom, I think it was just a...
So the final score, San Francisco 35, Indianapolis 14.